Whispers in the cafe. Shadows creeping, truth ain't sleeping. Whispers loud, no room for doubt. Chains rattling, hearts unraveling behind the veil where stories shout. True crime warriors, seekers of light through the dark, through the night. Truth and transparency, battle and fight. True crime warriors chasing what's right. Coffee stains on broken dreams, unfiltered tales bursting at seams. Jewelers juggling, cane bees grind, outcasts rising, justice to find. In the Bronx tale where the stories weave, in the indie zone where hearts believe. True crime warriors, seekers of light through the dark, through the night. Truth and transparency, battle and fight. True crime warriors chasing what's right. Birdies chirp in the morning haze. Lucy's thoughts in a convict's maze. Pavarotti echoes a haunting serenade through dark-hidden coders. The truth won't fade. The truth won't fade. Yeah. Whispers in the cafe, voices in the haze, jewelry spinning trays, cane be set in the blaze. Outcast hearts beating in the Bronx night maze. Kathy's indie zone hiding truths in the phrase. Good sturdy queens, devil's advocate schemes. Lucy's morning star burning through dreams. True crime warriors seeking the truth. Birdies fly, cutting through the smooth. Unleash shadows, stories they pursue. True crime warriors chasing what's new. True crime warriors chasing what's due. Chasing who? Chasing who? Chasing who? Dago streets hum, secrets in the air. Tommy Drew's tune, decoding despair. Docket lines blurred, the lies in the care. Unfiltered lucky, the burden we bear. Pavarotti's cry, cutting through the night. Murder, metal, mayhem, justice in the fight. Bubbly waters ripple under dim light. A convict stars wrong from right. True crime warriors seeking the truth. Birdies fly, cutting through the snow. Unleash shadows, stories they pursue. True crime warriors chasing what's due. True crime warriors chasing what's due. Whispers in the cafe, voices in the haze, Jewelry spinning trays can't be set in the blaze. Outcast hearts beating in the Bronx night maze. Kathy's Indies own hiding truths in the phrase. Custody queens, devil's advocate schemes. Lucy's morning star burning through dreams. True crime warriors seeking the truth. Birdie's flash cutting through the smooth. Unleash shadows, stories they pursue. True crime warriors chasing what's new. True crime warriors chasing what's due. Chasing who? Chasing who? Chasing who? Moderators of truth in the shadows, they stand. Brandy B with a drink in hand, Christian Nevada. Seahawks ride, tomboy charm, mama bear pride. Blue cruise in the house, feel the sound. Bass shakes the earth, we're unbound. Moonlit baby, typically unique. Voices rise with the words you see. With the words you see. With the words you see. Molly Dredd, Sassy Cassie, they don't play. Rax and Alicia J clearing the way. Randy first stomps, a quake in the ground. Fizzy cake laughs, chaos all around. Leah Story spins the tales, Bonnie Bailey howls. Lucy Morning Stars, light breaks the cloud. Blue cruise in the house, feel the sound. Bass shakes the earth, we're unbound. Moonlit baby, typically unique. Voices rise with the words you seek. With the words you seek. With the words you seek. Cat K shouts, truths are creed. SRB Zelda, hearts that bleed. Sassy Cassie sparks the flame. We're all here. Remember the name. 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 Drop the guitars, truth moderators in the mix. Heavy bass hit your chest like a ton of bricks. Brandy B, Christy with the Nevada glow. Seahawks fan, tomboy charm, let the rhythm flow. Mama bear vibes. Molly Drek in the den. SRB Zelda casting spells with a pen. Sassy Cassie Rach, Lucia J in the booth. Wrench wrecking crew, they the moderators of truth. True blue crew, wrench in the game. Breaking all the rules, never staying the same. Moonlit baby, typically unique. Fizzy cake rising, let the truth speak. Cat K, Meg P. Leah Story unfolds. Bonnie Bailey, Lucy Morning Star bold. From the shadows to the stage, they spark the flame. Each line they drop redefines the name. Randy Fur with the claws, cutting through the noise. True blue crew, real talk, no decoys. Sassy but savage, the truth they pursue. Wrench wrecking crew, it's what they do. Moonlit skies, truths collide. Shatter illusions, no place to hide. Typically unique, fizzy cake sweet. Steady on the grind, never taste defeat. Yeah. leg P with a heart that's warm. They don't back down, they don't fade away. Truth is the anthem they play every day. Seahawks fan, but the fight ain't a game. I'm a bear roars, ain't tame, ain't the same. Wrench in the gears of the liars and fakes. Breaking the chains for the real it takes. Blue crew, red stricken. Voices loud, no second guessing. Moonlit baby howling high. Typically unique, rising to the sky. Blue crew, red stricken. Physics spark, igniting tension. Cat Kaylee, a story taking no blame. Bonnie Bailey, Lucy, Morning Star, burning the flame, yeah. Burning the flame, yeah.
What is going on here? All right. What the hell? All right, y'all. Sorry, guys. Welcome back to the cafe. We're open for business. Happy Saturday. I hope you're all having an amazing weekend. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Great to see you all. Great show yesterday again with the Custody Queens. Super great show. I appreciate everybody's interaction. It was great. Very great, guys. We're looking into something a little different. Well, not really, but just a little sideways today. I was really blown away today. I was watching Birdie earlier, and wow. If anybody was over there, you know what I'm talking about for real. And it made me start thinking. So as you notice in the title, it says 2 a.m. is a dark hour. Is it because of, well, we're going to get there, just so you know. So come on in, grab a seat, get comfortable, fill that cup, if you will. Make sure you're comfortable, because we're going to be talking here for a minute, and it's going to be interesting. That's for sure. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us. Make sure to hit that like button, share this out, and let everybody know what we are doing. That being said, well,
neon lights flicker like broken halos. Whispers gather in the smoke-filled air. Tables carved with secrets and shadows. Every story's a wound laid bare. The kettle's boiling with restless rage. Justice written on an unseen page. I sip the silence, bitter taste, waiting for the ghosts to show their face at the True Crime Cafe. We serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth you crave. Raise your glass to the names they betrayed. Mirrors cracked, reflections are liars. Ashes fall where the guilty once stood. The jukebox hums like a funeral choir. Echoes pounding through the neighborhood. Every scar is a candlelit vow. We hunt the how, we demand the now. No more silence, no more disguise. We'll paint the night with sharpened cry. At the True Crime Cafe, we serve up the pain they try to hide away. Pour another cup of the truth from the bottle's rim. The guilty write stories in invisible ink, but we'll drag it all up from the edge of the break. At the True Crime Cafe, the reckoning burns like a black bouquet. Every shadow will pay. In the True Crime Cafe.
All right. Welcome, guys. Come on in, grab a seat, get comfortable, if you will, please. Looks like we got 64 beautiful peeps in the house so far. Wonderful to see you all here. 1 minute here, guys. Make sure this is all up and running. And it is. We're good to go. Good to go. 64 peeps, 42 likes. Let's see if we can make that match, guys. As always, thank you so much for joining us today. Please make sure to hit the like button, share it out, and let everybody know what's going on in here at the cafe. Come on in, come on in. Who we got in here with us so far? It looks like Miss Tandy's in the house. Thank you so much for joining us. Moto Man, welcome back to you, my brother. Miss Christina, good to see you. Beach Babe, welcome back. Good to see you. Scully, what's happening, bro? Good to see you today. Yvonne Poole, welcome, welcome, welcome. Summer Thunder's in the house. Miss Moonflower, always happy to see you. Thank you, and same to you, dear. Absolutely. Fizzy's in the house. Good to see you. Good to have you here. Oh, I hate this case too. Hemisphere, welcome back, brother. Good to see you. The last 24 is in the house. Good to see you. Miss Vonda's in the house today. Welcome back, Miss Vonda. Good to see you. Miss Josie West, welcome to you. Miss Christine's in the house. Welcome back, Wade Bird. Of course, Christina. Gabby Abby, welcome. Great to see you. Miss Jen is 7 in the house today. Good to see you, Jen. You might be interested in this one today for sure. She's always inserting some interesting pieces of info in this one, guys. Jesse Schul, my brother, good to see you. Great to have you as always, bro. Miss Rowena, very, very much welcome to you. Great to see you today. Come on in, RJ. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Great to have you here. Moonlit Baby, welcome back. Rhode Island Housewife, same to you. Miss Teresa, welcome, welcome. And Chilo, welcome to you. Esther Hahn, great to see you. Great to have you here. Let me see. Show. Sarah D. Irish, welcome. Good to have you in the house today. Show. False Star, welcome back. Great to see you today. Yes, ma'am. My birthday's tomorrow. Yippee. Just another day. Nothing ever happens on the birthdays anymore. It's not an exciting thing anymore. Lion's Den, welcome. Good to see you. Oh, welcome, Hemisphere. Thank you for joining us today.
Well, hello, Dago. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Witchy was welcome. Good to see you, Witchy. I'm good, thank you, sir. What the hell did they do? I am noticing this now. DKM 905. What did YouTube do? Like it? Everybody, all you guys had your your names, but now they've flip flopped it and turned it around to your at names with all the numbers and stuff added to it. That's weird. Why did I never noticed that until now?
I've
Cassie,
noticed it about a couple weeks ago.
Cassie
I'm
was
doing
talking about it.
Outcast podcast and everybody else's, and I don't really like the number deal either.
I don't know why they did that. That's the whole point in you guys having your own names to be able to have your own names. Miss Krista Marie, good to see you with Reality with Krista Marie. Good to have you in the house today, sis. Thanks for joining us. Buenos dias, Miss Amy. Feliz cumpleaños. Thank you so much. God bless.
I mean, if you want to give me a number, give me 2112.
I don't know. I don't like that. I don't understand why they don't just leave it alone. This is you guys. If you guys wanted numbers by your names, you'd put numbers by your names, and you didn't. So it's weird. Like, why are you doing that? Leave it alone.
Hello,
I don't know
Chris.
how I did. Why didn't I notice this until now? Cassie pointed it out this morning, said she hated it, and I was like, yeah. Well, what are you talking about? You know, I wasn't. I see your guys' names, so I wasn't even looking at it and really paying attention. But now I see it. Miss JC's in the house. Fox Rooter, welcome to you. You don't need a number, Moto Man. You are Moto Man. That's all that matters. That's the most important. Stuart Jones, hello and welcome. Bearcat Belay, 83, welcome and thank you. So weird. How did I never notice it till right now? Well, I know I noticed it now because she pointed it out, but how did I not notice it if it's been there for a while? That's wild. They're always messing something up here in YouTube, guys. It's only been a few channels. Oh, okay. Got you, Busy. That makes sense. I don't know. That's a good question, Scully. Can you go into your guys' page and edit it out? Or will it just automatically redo it? If that's the case, I wonder if you'd have to change your handle. Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
I wouldn't know. I would have to play around with it and figure out what's going on with that. But I know Outcast, you go into his chat and everybody has their numbers beside their names.
Yeah, so, I think that's the thing now. Thank you so much, you guys, for
I think it's more of a. I'm sorry. I think it's more of a channel per channel thing.
Right.
There might be settings in that channel that does that. I don't know.
That's probably it, RJ. It's a confusion tactic, making it harder for us to communicate. That's 100% probably right, bro. They're
it's
trying
the propaganda.
I wouldn't doubt it. That makes perfect sense, RJ. Truly does. Welcome, guys. 98 peeps in the house so far. We got 55 likes. We're getting there. Come on in. We got an interesting combo to have today, guys. 2 a.m. is a dark hour. Miss Stacy Chapin made that statement. Everybody always questioned it. Is it because we're going to get to that part of it? Why is it? We're going to discuss it. I got, like I said, Birdie blew my mind today. He was on point today, folks. He was really, really, really turning them gears, and he's always got a great show, guys. He always does. Make sure we drop his link in here, by the way, mods, if we can. And you guys need to check that show out today. When you get some time, he blew it out of the water, period. He got into I'm going to show a little clip of it just so that it's understandable why I started thinking like I did. Go ahead. Sorry about that. I mean,
no, you're good. I was on Outcast podcast on his voice. He let me in his StreamYard, and I totally didn't even think about this. I've seen it around. There's been other videos that was saying pretty much the same thing that Birdie was talking about in his podcast. But what I'd like to do is get with Outcast, because I know he's real good about it, is try to see if we can get the events of that night to sync up from the time that Kaylee and Maddie went to the corner club till they went to the grub truck, and then have everything synced up.
Yeah.
That might get us a bigger, broader picture of what Birdie pretty much highlighted today. But that was very interesting in what he was saying.
For sure, guys. And we're going to get into that. I'll probably pull up his show from today and do a little review of a part of it just so you understand why. As I was watching it, I was actually sitting in Discord with Mama Bear and a couple other mods and talking to them too about it. We were reviewing some other things we had talked about in the past. And I was like, we need to break this down. We need to break something else with this down as we go into this. Everybody always questioned why Stacy Chapin made that statement. They always questioned, what does she mean? And many people tried to make it make sense, so on and so forth. Well, as I was sitting here thinking about everything, because that's what I do, and watching, I was like, I wonder. We never, ever, ever have ever had an absolute timeline. First off, a real timeline. We know that's always been a problem. But we've never had a timeline either as to when Xana and Ethan showed up at home, ever. And maybe that's because they were home. Maybe it's because they were already home and had been home. Like everybody, we heard early on that Jeff Kernodle stated that he talked to her and she said she was home by midnight, 12:30. They were eating pizza, watching TV, so on and so forth. And we know that the others were out at the bar, whatever, so on and so forth. Now, at this other point, I'm going to throw something out there. I've always had issues believing anything that Dylan and Bethany have said. Well, this makes it even easier to not believe it, okay? Were they very possibly home eating pizza? Okay? That could have been a true thing. Just saying. And where were they did Maddie and Kaylee maybe walk into the house and walk into something they didn't want to?
Well, that thought crossed my mind when I was watching his live, was saying that could it possibly mean that Ethan and Xana was already gone by the time they got to the house, and whoever unlived them was already at the house lying in wait for Kaylee and Maddie to get home.
Right. That's a good question, though.
That kind of makes my wheel wonder, because I'm very sus about Dylan anyway.
Of course. Yeah. That's most of us are.
And I have, until something happens and it changes my mind about Dylan, I'm sorry, but I'm just going by what's been said and what's been shown to me. She has knowledge of it. And I have no doubt in my mind that she was part of the plan. So
there's no doubt that she has way more knowledge than they've ever told us. And yes, the DoorDash is an order, or the DoorDash order is an issue. Of course it is, but that's what we're going to discuss through today in some aspects. There's a couple things that are issues with this theory, okay, because other things don't line up as they should to some extent. So Scully asking that question, that's a great question, brother, because it is an issue. And yeah, very good point, Hemisphere, on some aspects with that too.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that's just the way the evidence is leading me about Dylan.
I have no doubt that those two, I think we talked a little bit about that yesterday with the Queens. I have no doubt that those two have way more knowledge than they have to yet expel, period. Okay. Birdie made a comment in chat yesterday while we were talking with the custody queens about, do you think it's possible that Dylan may have been debriefed by Homeland Security? Well, that is quite possible, isn't it? Because everything is possible in this case. Just saying. Google TY9W, welcome. That would be a good point, Go Cat. If we had the ability to FOIA the information about the delivery driver, if there was a pizza delivered, who it came from, where it came from, what time it was delivered, so on and so forth, if that happened. Or it could have been a frozen pizza that they had in the house. We don't know, but, it's still something to look into. Welcome, DK. M, good to see you.
And somebody in Birdie's chat mentioned something about Jack Showalter was his plan was try to keep Kaylee and Maddie out of the house by as long as they
Yeah.
he
Yes.
could.
That was absolutely discussed in the past, and nobody really could put it together. But if you think about that now at this point, and I truly, absolutely believe that Maddie and Kaylee were being followed and or watched from the time they were at the club till the time they got home. And that's just an opinion I have for different specific reasons. I think that they were either being watched by people or followed by people or both from the time they were at the club until from there to the grub truck to all the way home. Thank you, Moto Man. Says Hunter Chapin and the other Hunter both are hiding information in my opinion. I think so too. I hate to say that. I do hate to say, especially with Hunter Chapin, but I agree with that too, bro. I do. And thank you, sir, for that chat. Number 1 on our goal list. I appreciate that, brother. We got that goal started already. Let's see. Jen says, why was Vincent Sheets not ever interviewed by Ellie? He was another driver who had not good things to say about that area. That's a good point. That's why I love having you here, Jen. I told you, there's always good things to say. Beth Wagner, welcome. Happy Saturday. Starving Artist in the house. Good to see you. Yeah, I truly feel that they were, guys, I'm not a rabbit holer. You know that I'm really not. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. And there's nothing wrong with being one. I try to go in a more factual direction to try to make it make sense. But truly and honestly, nowadays, I don't, the being followed thing, it's not really a conspiracy. It's a real deal thing. If you have a plan that's planned out, okay, to do something, there's always things within that plan that have to happen. So following and observing two people that might be part of that plan, or maybe they're not supposed to be part of that plan. Who knows? Maybe they were the maybe they weren't supposed to have been attacked, you guys. As much as it looks like Kaylee may be a target because of the damage done to her, that could just be because she tried to fight and protect herself and or her friend, and it pissed off the people attacking her, so they really had to get her off of them and do something, Just saying. It's all good, Jesse. I love it. Mission Girl, good to see you. She says, yes, Vincent Sheets had a lot to say about that neighborhood. Yeah, I'd like to see that report again, to be honest with you. And Fizzy made a great point. Yeah, hold on real quick. 1 second here. Hold on. Dago, he's the only one of the Chapins not involved in the lawsuit blocking the crime scene photos. That's interesting, Fizzy. Thank you. Go ahead, Hemi. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just trying to validate something because I've been watching. I'm just like everybody else. I watch a lot of videos about Idaho Port. I could have sworn that somebody made a statement that there were certain people that was involved in all this that already had carnal knowledge of it way beforehand.
Well, that was told to me by WSU Mom Kim, which is something we're going back to here because it's been requested. We're going to be doing that here. I don't know, maybe tonight or tomorrow, but we're going to be going back to those interviews and re-listening to that because that may actually point out some things that we have in front of us right now and reheat that stuff back up in our minds, if that makes any sense. So that's coming too, folks. Don't forget about that.
I remember you saying that the other day, and then I saw a old video that you did with Kim pop up right after you did that live. You mentioned it.
That's what we're going back to because Kim did say, Dago, there's people that knew about this for days before, for a while before. A lot of people, they knew this was going to happen. She also stated that this may have been a shakedown of sorts that went bad, and well, that's why we're going back there, guys. We're going to go back. You guys all voted for us to do it. We're going to do it and see what picture we can paint with that info that we had then as compared to the info we have now together. I think it would be interesting. Paisley Spots, welcome. Good to see you. Maybe Kaylee said some degrading things to the person beating her that caused him. It could be. It very well could be. That's a good point, Paisley. Very good point. It doesn't take much to piss people off, especially if they're already in an angered state. SoCal Gal, welcome. Good to see you. This has never been about Kaylee. Ellie pushed that narrative to not look at that. Yeah. See, and I keep telling you guys, as much as I don't even look at it sometimes, that we need to look at this the exact opposite way that law enforcement wants us to, in my opinion. They're not going to give us anything of the truth. We know that now already. Okay, so everything they give us, we need to look at it in an opposite an opposite way, and that is probably where more of the truth lies. You know, just like this whole Delta thing that was brought up now, thanks to Sherlock. Rolo has put out some interesting stuff in regards to this stuff. Birdie really went into it today, and like I said, guys, I watch everybody. You know, I love to hear everybody's in theories and opinions and how they break things down. Of course, I love Birdie. We know that, okay, and he does a great job with what he does. But he blew my mind today, folks. Truly blew my mind. And I was just like, what the hell? Where have I been not thinking about this? But I didn't really look into that. And I thank Sherlock. I think we need to drop Sherlock's link in here to you guys, truly, because Sherlock has done some really cool stuff and really put out some interesting things and given us another way to look at stuff, at least, because we need multiple angles to look at to understand any of this. So if you guys haven't been watching Sherlock, you need to be doing that, in my opinion. So Carbon 7950, good to see you. Why was Xana's car key inside her vehicle? Well, that's a good point. Good point. Thank you for that one, Fizzy. Make sure you guys go subscribe. Yeah, I'm going to, Jesse. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about from Birdie's video. For those of you that didn't get to see it, I want to make sure that you guys are subscribed to Birdie as well. And when you get a chance, go watch the full video and make sure you like it, because he really put a show on today for sure, folks. I was super duper impressed with him today.
And everything that he pretty much mapped out pretty much lines up. So, and it also exposes a lot of things too as well, which we can get into that later. But
yeah.
Well,
here's the big issue. The biggest issue with this case is we don't understand it. The biggest issue with this case is that it makes no sense. The biggest issue with this case is that we have not received any truth on this. Well, it seems to me that every time, and if you notice, folks, a lot of us are working together, kind of in unison, along with each other. You know, Lana, Birdie, Outcast, myself, in just kind of putting out the same type of stuff, going in the same direction, and helping each other in aspects that we don't even understand sometimes. And now we're heading in the right direction as compared to 2 years ago. Everybody's kind of fighting with each other, not doing this, not doing that. Everybody was divided in certain ways, so on and so forth. Well, this is what it takes. And that's one thing Tommy was always right about. God bless. We all miss and love Tommy so very much. He was right about one absolute thing, that we need to work together for anything good to come out of this. And that's a fact. Tommy made his mark by making that point, in my opinion, and many other things, but that was one of the most important things that he's ever said. That's a fact. Okay. So 100%. And it's now that you see that we're all working together, there's things that are coming, and I don't mean that we're like working hand in hand, side by side every day on every show with each other. One creator does a show and it makes some sense. Another one does another one, it makes some sense. Another one does it. We all do it different ways. And at the end of that, there's something that is somewhat of an understanding. So it's very interesting to me, and I think it's an amazing thing. I'm very grateful for that. Let's see.
No, the only thing I can say to that is, I think a lot of times in the beginning of cases like this, when you don't really have all the facts and you're just trying to put your own speculation to it until something is proven. But I think what's the difference is between then and now is we have so much information on this case that all the ones that was very leaning toward the guilt side or whatever is leaning more on the non-guilty side of saying, hey, wait a minute, maybe things are starting to get to where it's starting to add up now. and we're not fooled anymore because of the efforts of these creators like Lana. She's always in the docs, always breaking it down. So it's just getting the information out there so everybody can, if you have time to do it, do your own due diligence and start looking into it as well.
That's what I want is, no matter what I put out, what Birdie puts out, what Outcast puts out, Lana puts out, I think every one of us want you guys to take what we do or what we discuss and how we do it and perceive it the way you do and make your own decisions. Nobody wants anybody to feel and decide things just like we do just because we do it. We want everybody to make their own decisions based on what we talk about and what we do. So that's what I think the best part of this is, in my opinion.
And that, also, I just think that this everybody should know that this thing should have went to the trial, went to trial. Period.
Yeah. Oh, of course. There's no doubt there. Witchy, Tommy's link is in the chat now. There it is right there for his Discord. If anybody wants to help out with that, please do. His family would greatly appreciate that. Miss Lucy's in the house. Yes, always do your own research, 100%. Of course, you can take into account anything we talk about, any of us, but go check it out on your own, guys, because you'll never truly have your own feeling of I'm trying to think of the word to use of I guess realism unless you do it yourself. You know what I mean? And you look into things on your own as well. That's all I do is research stuff. As soon as somebody says something, I go look into certain things immediately and constantly doing that. So do my mods. They're always doing it. They're always sending me things. I'm always sending them things. We're always bouncing things back and forth, trying to make sense of stuff. So yes.
If somebody was to come to you and tell you a story, and within probably 5 minutes of them trying to tell you the story, you already came to your own decision of whether or not it's bullshit or not.
Yeah.
If it's factual or if it's not factual.
I've had that
up
happen.
or if it's not made up.
I've had that happen many times, actually. Yes.
Then I'll try to see. That's how I went into this case, and when I go through watching those body cams, and I'm just looking at how they're reacting, what's going on, and I'm telling you, with pure speculation, without proof or anything, I'm telling you that these people was not acting like a rational person would act like coming into a quadruple homicide scene. That's red flags to me. That was red flags.
Yeah.
So,
very good point.
I mean, you're not even telling anybody in the. I get it. Okay. As rightfully so, but if you're not even treating the people that was in the house at that particular time like they're suspects in the way it should, and they should have, but you're not wanting to release that to the neighbors, that's another red flag. I've never seen anything like that before. And my little spidey senses just goes all the way up, and I want to know why. Why are we acting this way? And the only conclusion that I can come up with is this is the culture they've made for themselves in that dynamic they have there.
Interesting. Hemming. Sorry, guys. I'm looking it up as we're waiting. I was just waiting on everybody to jump in. Speaking of the man himself, right there. Great show today, brother. Mind blowing for sure. Wanted to ask you in your chat, quick question. Does anybody remember if we have seen the phrase frame drift or time sync adjustment in any of the docs or hearings? I don't believe I have, dude. That's wild. By the way, there's a link pinned at the top of the chat, Bertie. You're more than welcome to jump up here, brother, if you feel if you want to actually voice it. Come on up, please.
Exactly, Jesse, and that's the reason why my spidey senses was going off when I was looking through that body cam footage. They had to know.
Lucy, how did you know I was
They
getting
had to
ready to
know.
say that to you? I was getting ready to word for word say that to you. Hang on there, Hemi. I'm sorry. What's up, bro?
What's up, Birdie?
Great show today, dude. You set the stage for this show today for me. So
Oh, thank you. Yeah, man. I was over caffeinated and my brain was
on
working.
override, bro. That was
Yeah.
great.
Thank you. I I appreciate you letting me pop up. I don't need to,
Oh, anytime.
Plans. Thank you.
Take your time.
My question and why I was asking that, if anybody has seen the term frame drift or time sync adjustment, is because when I got off live, I started doing like some research on like how are you going to manipulate something to fit a narrative, right? And it's really they're what these people would do. Everyone says, how is this possible? Why would they manipulate time for body cam for whatever? And right now, yes, we're talking about the Idaho 4. You can apply this to anything. So like if you're gonna F with footage, what are you gonna look for? Well, you're gonna look for parts of the footage that match what you already know is going to be your narrative.
Yes.
So you're gonna look for stuff when it looks suspicious, or okay, if I have the car coming in at this time and then I have it leaving at this time, whether you duplicate it, you copy it. The reason why I asked that is I was reading through like what's legal for the feds to do. That's one of the other things too that I've been trying to pay attention to. And what I find very, very interesting is that typically when it happens, when the feds do this, they'll just put something in a court document that's labeled frame drift or time sync adjustment. So I started wondering, like, if there is ever anything that's said like that,
right?
Like I know Ann Taylor said 7 minutes is a big deal. Yeah. And I'm trying to think back off the top of my head. So I was just curious.
I don't remember. I wrote it down now because I'm gonna be looking for it now. I don't remember ever seeing that or reading, but we read through those documents over here so fast because there were so many of them. It could have been in there. I could have just like rolled through it without even thinking. So I'm gonna have to go back and look through because that's interesting because I've never heard those terms before. And now with what you said today, with what you pointed, I mean, guys, if you didn't watch that show, you need to go watch that show when you get a chance. It blew his mind. It left him speechless. Aspect.
I got up and I was literally like walking around. I'm like, I was planning on going live, and if you guys were in there, thank you for tuning in. And I have some visuals that I'm more than happy to share with you, or if you're going to show it. But really, what was crazy to me is I just wanted this morning to be like, here's an initial working theory. And I actually was typing out that comment, and I heard the part about you kind of saying like, we're all working together, take it and run with it. Yeah. The next step now is the actual footage timestamps to see if they do line up. But yeah, I mean, you look at a chronological timeline of at 152, you got the black truck leaving. If you apply the Delta, then you have the supposed emergency caller, the 911 call. Then the girls arrive home, and then you got the Banfield runners. It's all within 7 minutes.
What killed me, dude, what ended, like I blew up at that point. That's when I sent you that super chat, was when the horn was heard in the background.
Oh, that
with the BMW thing, I was done right there. I was finished. I was like, what the? That was it.
That was a live reaction. I didn't even know. Like, I found that live.
No, that was
yeah.
great.
I'm more than happy if I know I saw you got Hemis up here. What's going on, man? I'm more than happy to hang out for a little bit. I got some time, but if you wanted to get to it, I didn't want to hijack anything that you were.
No. You're welcome anytime, every time, brother. It's my door's always open to anybody that wants to join us, especially one of you guys that comes in here. Being that you basically spouted my mind for this show today, I started into that already. I've thought about it before. With I think we even discussed a tiny bit of it when I was on your show the other night. The 2 a.m. is a dark hour thing. Nobody's ever really understood what that meant. Okay.
Yep.
She said it. It is what it is. And we've all kind of played that bounced that back and forth in our heads since she said it and wondered. She's never elaborated ever. And I think that the way this case was presented to us, I'm glad you are here. I even said in your chat, we need to talk. It was always presented to us, in my opinion, as though that Xana and Ethan were probably not the main targets of this situation. If that's how the case was brought out to us, as if though Kaylee and or Maddie or both were the main target in this situation. Well, as I said earlier, I think everything that's been handed over to us, we're supposed to look at it in an opposite view because we're not supposed to see it that way. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Otherwise, why are they giving us all this stuff? They're not going to give us the truth. We know that. We know that already. It's not just going to happen. So
I've always thought it was odd too that Kaylee's the target and just so happened to be back, and the motive of her coming back has also just been very like whitewashed. It's like, okay, so was it Dylan? Was it for the car? Why is she back? And then it's a rental car, and then Dylan and her didn't even hang out or what? So it's like, yeah, you got to think opposite about that. I agree with you. And you know, as I'm sure most people in here, I'll watch and tune in. Like I tuned into your show the other day. Like if I'm at the gym on the treadmill, I'll go back and I'll watch other creators and listen to what they're talking about and just kind of get a gauge as far as like, okay, like, is there somebody that broke down a document, something, you know, that I haven't heard? When Lana had the Homeland Security thing, it just solidified in my mind this green light of like, don't fight the contrarian thoughts that I have anymore.
Sure.
I've always said that it makes no sense that Ethan and Xana, their whereabouts, 2 of the 4 victims, nobody knows.
Nope.
It's always bothered me. And then you got Xana's mom that said that in the police report. You and I talked about that, which by the way, dude, great job again on the show. I mean, that was a super fun show when you popped on.
Yeah.
And I'm more than happy to come over to yours, you know, in a more planned setting too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. You and the Custody Queens. I want to get Outcast up here again as well. I think that we've all been heading in the right direction with this. So I appreciate that, by the way. And I'm looking forward to doing it again real soon for sure.
I think too, dude, you know, one of the other cryptic things, you talk about 2 a.m. being a dark hour. What's another cryptic thing said by one of the main, you know, parents that's out there talking? He didn't have to go upstairs. Well, now you really can throw your tinfoil hat on. Yes. And it's like, why make that such a point to go upstairs? Why make it such a point that Kaylee is the target?
And he really stressed it too. Like he was really upset about that when he said it. And then he never elaborated. As always with these statements that are made, there's no elaboration on it whatsoever. So somebody made a statement in here just a little bit ago, right before you jumped in here. And it made me, I've talked about this before, but I never went anywhere with it. But now with this whole thing now, we never got, like you just said, we've never gotten a true timeline when Xana and Ethan got home ever. Not, they said 1:45. We know that's not true. And then like you were talking about at one point that the whole little powwow that supposedly happened at 2 a.m. in Kaylee's bedroom. Okay. And we know most of what Dylan has said is very hard to believe. So you got to kind of take all of that with a rattle. Okay. I have believed for a while now, just to add to this, that I believe that Kaylee, and I just said this too, Kaylee and Maddie were being watched from the time they were at the club all the way to the time possibly that they got to the house. So I always wondered, maybe was thinking about that the wrong way. If they're being watched, followed, whatever you want to call it, maybe it's to keep them away from the house as long as they can possibly do. Jack Showalter's walking with them, kind of, you know you see what I'm saying? So maybe that was the point in that. Maybe they weren't even supposed to be victims, dude. Maybe they were being kept away, you know, standing at the grub truck, this and that. And Showalter possibly was only there just to keep an eye on them because he made a statement about that somewhere. I can't remember where, that he was asked to keep an eye on them.
Yes, okay? I remember that. When did he say that?
I can't remember. It's driving me nuts. I've been thinking about this for 2 hours now.
It was a big deal when he said that.
I can't
remember. Holy shit. Sorry.
Somebody in your chat said that too, Birdie.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah.
So, okay. That's crazy because,
I have a question too.
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead.
Since there was one part, you had my brain just going overdrive and going, okay, who has the pull to manipulate time in the body cams and the footage that we've seen? Who has that big of a pull? And I have no doubt in my mind, had this been a setup, and no doubt in my mind it is, or a cover up, that might be who lead us to who actually did this.
Well, it's funny that you say that. Like, who has the pull to do this?
Mhm.
So it goes back to, why did they pick this 4 a.m. time? And I was saying, I'm like, if I was going to do this, I would pick a time to start this all when it's all actually over with.
That's what I said in your chat after. Yeah.
Yes. Because then there's no risk of an overlap, and you can
Exactly.
fully build the story via clips, via audio, via whatever. And to Hemi's point, real quick, I was just gonna say there's four softwares that allow you to where you can edit metadata.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and that I'm using very layman's terms here. Okay,
Sure.
so but there's you can edit certain fields of metadata from what I'm reading right now, right? So you can do it on video files, so MP4, MOV. You can even do it with images like JPEG, PNG, stuff like that. We all know those file names.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is also how you would see if somebody did edit the metadata or try to. If it's on an app, like if it's on Instagram or if it's on YouTube or whatever, that, the company is going to have that. But if I was to make a copy, let's say, of surveillance footage, and I put that into a CapCut, or if I put that into Adobe Pro or whatever it is, that metadata is not belonging to Ring or the security camera anymore. It's technically, that copy of it is mine. So it could be changed around where you can, there's create, you could do the create date or the date created. You can modify that. You could do all this stuff in Adobe Premiere, Final Cut, Veritone. Here's what's interesting, bro. The other ones that do it, that have this ability, Axon and Evidence.com,
Mm-hmm.
and Handbrake. So now I'm like, oh shit, what did they use? What type of body cams are they using?
Well, Axon is the body cam. That's shit. Oh shit.
Because is it correct for me to say that what I got out of your live, Birdie, was they could not manipulate the grub truck time?
Correct.
When Katie and Maddie was at the grub truck.
Well, Outcast pointed out quite a while ago that the Axon body cams are very easy to manipulate, and there's a few other things that we need to get with him and see what he knows about the abilities with that kind of stuff, in my opinion. That's wild. That is wild.
And I keep mentioning this, but I really would truly love to see what was on Kaylee's phone at 10 p.m. till right about 2 p.m. or 3 or 2 a.m.
I think we all would, yeah.
Because when you look at that grub truck footage, she's actively looking on her phone. Who's she talking to?
On the time she left the bar, she was nonstop, yeah. So, well, let me add this real quick to what we were talking about just a few seconds ago. Busy pointed out too, Dago, they weren't supposed to be there. They were supposed to go to John's Alley, but they went home instead. You remember that? They were absolutely supposed to go to that other bar. They even asked Decor, do you want to go to John's Alley with us? He was like, no, I'm going home. I'm tired, whatever. I got to work. They were supposed to go to John's Alley and instead changed their mind. And I think it's because Maddie was so knocked that night. She was just way out of it and decided they were going to get food instead. So you got to wonder. You got to wonder.
And you also, you also have to keep your own brain in check, which I know if people have tuned into some of my lives where I'm going absolutely off the rails with conspiracies, but just know but also just know, I think people realize I can get granular. I can go down rabbit holes in a methodical way and look at this stuff.
Of course.
But one of the things that I do have to ask is these text messages, we don't see anything from the victims' phones. We're just like told like they were texting about this or they were talking about that. Like it's coming from people that are all either in their families or inside of the investigation. And I do wonder, like, does that kind of go back to what I said, where if we were going to manipulate a narrative to be around it, would we take things that they're not lies? They maybe have talked about going to this place, but it might have been a day before last weekend. And those, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that that's what you're saying right now, Dago, but it's like, you know, you would try to encompass everything that is as real as it can be.
Yeah.
That's background
absolutely
hunting.
what I do. Yeah,
Yeah.
usually. I got, first off, we all know I'm ADHD. So when I get a thought going in my mind that goes in a direction that hasn't really made sense for a while, like it goes nuts. So yeah, I do have to control myself in a lot of senses too. I promise you that you have to keep going forward sometimes and not get so squirreled off to the side. So
yeah, no, it's crazy.
Very good point too, though. Very good point. It just makes me wonder, you know, there's a lot of information at one time.
Because, dude, you want to talk about something that this should blow people's minds.
Yeah.
If there is one camera that is showing 3 a.m. and another camera is showing the same event 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds, either before or after 3 a.m., and it's showing that same event, that is a choice to offset it. That is systemically offsetting these cameras. And I'm so curious to see, now that people are looking into it from the 3 a.m. backwards, if anything lines up, because that was one of the challenges with, if people are familiar with Sherlock Holmes, I think, I know you are. Yeah. But he added the delta. He added it, and he said, I think this is going down at 4:08 because that's what the official time frame would have been. And so that go ahead.
You know, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You know that there's a piece at 3:35 to 4:08 is missing from that reel. You know that, right?
Right. So then, dude, check this out. You take 3:30 minus 1 hour, 7 min, 26 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That time frame gets you to 2:22. So if the cops were called at like 1:53, the gunshots you hear at 1:56, the Banfield runners are at 2:04. Let's say, what if that 30 minutes is when like cop cars and shit are showing up?
Exactly. That's where I went with that. As soon as that got brought out, I was like, we got that missing 35 minutes, whatever it is. Like, it makes you really go, wow, hold on.
Dude, and I've said this. I've said all of the commotion that we hear between, let's say, let me use like the Linda Lane car park or dumpster camp, right? Like, I'm going to not say the exact timestamp, but for math, like 1:30, right? 1:30, 1:45, like you start hearing shit. And then you also hear like and that's only a couple minutes of it. And then at 4 or 3 or 4:17, 4:09, you hear just another few minutes. But I'm like, what if we clipped those and we put them together? Would they flow? Like, would those two separate things flow into one small piece of chaos?
Yeah, well, and it was stated. I think you said it just a little bit ago. I'm gonna pull your thing up here in a minute and show everybody what we're talking about for those that missed it, and just so you guys understand, this is absolutely pure theory, opinion based on what we've looked at, what he was looking at. Yeah, absolutely, guys. So don't think this is a factual thing that came out of a document or something. We're just putting this together based on things that Birdie did this himself, basically, along with Sherlock and Rollo and everything else that they were talking about. It's all theory, folks, just to see what comes out of it, because it's very, very, it's mind provoking. I'll just tell you that much, big time. So,
yeah, and also too, I'll give that disclaimer for myself. If people don't know who I am or what the hive is, I would say it's, a contrarian thinking live stream where we're thinking past the headlines. We're thinking past these documents. Yeah. It's said in the beginning of every stream. It's not meant to be taken as fact. It's for the tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy friends where, we know what we're doing. Doesn't mean that we're stupid though. Doesn't mean that we don't know how to read documents. I've always said all of the footage, all of the audio, all of the interviews, all of the documents, all of everything Can anybody tell us how Brian Koberger pulled this off? No.
Nobody can. Nobody can. That's
What
the
about
problem.
what about any of the crime?
That's it. That's the whole problem, guys. Is at some point we've been in that box. We've been in this box for 3 years, folks. 3 years. Nothing makes a damn bit of sense. So at this point, I think quite a few of us are all jumping outside the box now, going, "Come on, give me something here. Show me somehow that this can make some sense." And that's what we're all trying to do, because truly at this point, nothing else has come together. This is a 1,000-piece puzzle. Jesus, hold on. This is a 1,000-piece puzzle that has 500 pieces, folks, and it's nowhere near enough to put it together. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Megastar says, I can attest that Birdie does legit say that at the beginning of every live stream. I do. Because I want it to be known, like,
he does.
But it's also, there's also streams where, like, I will pull up the court document. Dude, have you seen, this was going bananas on X. I don't think it's new, but I saw it like getting a ton of traction where Steve G is talking with Hippler, and I'm sorry to bounce all over the place, but Steve G is kind of going back and forth with Hippler about the leaks and how Hippler's disagreeing. And then he's like, I think it's terrible that we're using the word gag for a gag order when some of the victims were found gagged. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah. I saw that. I remember there's too many things going on that if you ignore it, I'm sorry, you need to go back and watch it and catch it. It puts things in full perspective in some aspect.
And I'll give you credit too. When you're on my live, you said, I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch stuff, because how many times have we all watched that interview with Dylan and none of us picked up on it?
Exactly. That's the whole point. Like, all of us have said that now. I think Lana was the only one that finally caught it at some point, but every one of us has watched that how many times until that was brought up. It was like, wait, what? And how much other stuff is there like that we've missed because we know we're on a time constraint to some aspect. We're trying to get through certain things. We review this, we review that. Some of this stuff I just let roll through, or I just read it blindly and probably said things that if I was paying attention, I would have went, stop, wait, hold on. You know what I mean? So absolutely. So, hey, Deborah, good to see you. Real quick here, guys. I want to go in and show you real quick for those of you that may not have seen Birdie's video earlier. This is what provoked my show today. It was really amazing. Let me find it. Not to skip out on anything you said, dude. I just want to go right to that point where that started.
And if you want me to hop off, I'm cool with that too.
No.
Okay.
Don't go nowhere, because you could probably explain things that how you were thinking or feeling at a certain point in this too. It's what it's all about. So and that will take us into the part of what
you wanted to talk to me about. Perfect.
Yeah. So
while you get that pulled up, let me grab my water bottle.
Yeah, no, take your time.
Okay.
Do your thing. I just don't know exactly where the timestamp is. I got it here. All right. Thank you so much, Deborah. God bless. Much appreciated. While we're waiting on him to come back here, hold on, because I know I saw a couple other ones in here. I'm glad he came over here, because I had hoped I didn't figure he'd want to, so I didn't even reach out to ask him to, but I'm glad he did. Moto Man, thank you for that as well. The white truck showed up everywhere, even after the incident. It was always in the background, driving around or driving by. It is in quite a few of the clips that we've seen. So, yeah. That white truck has always been an issue of conversation for sure. For those of you that didn't realize it. It's interesting. Good point, Moto Man. And thank you for that super chat too, bro. Very much appreciated. False Stars in the house. Good to see you. Yeah. Yes. Very much so. Very much so. Welcome, Jesse. Good to see you, bud.
Good day. Good day.
Robert, just hang loose, brother. What's going on, Jesse?
Good day. Oh, that's me.
Robert, just hang loose. You're in the background, buddy.
There we go. Is that better?
Yes.
All right. I'm supposed to be watching football, but this just looks like so much fun.
It's quite interesting today, bro. Very interesting, very interesting. And you get to meet Birdie as well.
How's it
I
going?
am familiar with Birdie's work and Sherlock Holmes and
Yeah,
Lee from
I've always
Devil's
wanted
Advocate.
to put you together with Birdie too because of your insight into this stuff, Jesse.
Nice to meet you, Jesse.
Nice to meet you, Birdie. I really like your stuff with Lee. I think there's a good connection there between you and Lee. And I enjoy those collabs that you guys do.
Well, thank you. Yeah, DA's kind of become like my long lost uncle that we'd probably drink a few too many beers at Thanksgiving together.
I actually wanted to reach out to Lee myself. I like what he does too. I've been following a lot of his stuff lately too. So
yeah, I'll send him a text.
I think one day it would be good to get a few of us together and do like a round table, as you call it, and just break it all down one day. I think it'd be a great show.
A long time ago, I was from the same area as Lee. So his voice and his mannerisms sound quite familiar to me. It sounds like friends from back home.
Gotcha. The old Canada days, huh?
Well, Lee's from the Pacific Northwest, but I lived in Victoria when I was in my 20s, and there's a ferry direct from Victoria to Seattle. The mannerisms, the language, the accents are quite similar.
Right. Wow, big difference now living in Thailand than anything, though, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's been 25 years now, so things have changed quite a bit.
There you go. So this would be interesting to you, Jesse. I think you'll enjoy this. I think I got this right. Birdie, do you know exactly when you started on this? I think this is it here. If not, once I start playing it, you can let me know for sure. I want to make sure I hit the right points on it.
Okay.
All right.
Maddie, they're seen at the grub truck. They arrive home at 1:56. Okay. Their private driver, as Steve G says, comes and picks them up. Oh, you're going to want to go ahead a little bit further. I go like through like an ADD squirrel brain.
Yeah, no, I get it. Okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure, and I didn't want to cut anything out.
Is there somebody, I hate to ask this, I don't know. I feel like I hear like static everywhere. Like, is it Hemisphere's camera going?
No, he's muted.
It just went away. Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know if that was the video of mine or not. So,
Thank you, Meg. No, I don't think it's coming from
probably me. I have an air filter going in the background. Can you hear it again now that I've unmuted?
No. I think it was Hemi's.
Okay.
But yeah, I would say, Dago, go like 2 minutes in front of this. You go to like, you'll see when I start to kind of click through. Yeah, when I get back from this.
Okay.
Yeah, right here about.
All right.
Yep.
You hear it now?
No idea where they are being Ethan and Xana. We don't.
You hear it now?
Really.
What'd you say, Hemi?
I was asking Birdie if he hears it now.
Nope. It's all good. It went away. Sorry.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry about that.
Any detail about them. One of the surviving roommates, for whatever it's worth, being Dylan, actually thought that it was Kaylee that was in the bathroom crying. These are all things that are, for all intents and purposes, established. Okay, so this theory starts at 1:56 a.m. Kaylee and Maddie are going to arrive home. At 3 a.m. on the Banfield body cam, there is a black diesel truck that is seen driving by. Right? Has everybody seen this? Everyone get a petition for Birdie to keep his caffeine consumption down. Can't. It's my wife.
Got you. Just so nobody's confused. If you guys remember the Banfield stop, the video, all that stuff, off to the side, you see cars driving by, so on and so forth. I don't want anybody confused. There's that big black truck way long time ago. People were like, oh, that's Dylan's boyfriend's truck, blah, blah, blah. We're not going into that. I'm just telling you that truck is what the time was and when this is all happening and where, so that everybody understands.
Keep them stocked long enough. Yeah, I'm shamelessly addicted to caffeine. How many milligrams of caffeine is too much a day? You can probably go like a minute ahead. What's in here?
Just so you know, don't feel bad. I probably drink way more caffeine than you, and I'm all right.
Okay, yeah.
I drink like Jesus. I could probably drink about 10 of the K cups of coffee a day without fail. So
I can drink and go right to sleep.
I got you all beat.
yeah,
Guaranteed.
I can too because I'm ADHD. It just shuts me down usually. That's why I don't know why I drink so much of it, but
yeah. Well, and I apologize to your audience now for the random like squirrel kind of brain that I have.
They know me. Listen, dude, they know me. I'm all over the damn place, so don't worry about it.
All right. He did arrive home at 1:56. That's about an hour and 4 minutes until this truck leaves. 1 minute after the truck leaves, the rumored 911 call happens, and 11 minutes after the 911 call, the Banfield runners are seen. We don't know who the Banfield runners are, or if they're the culprits, or if it's people escaping. Who knows? So now this is where everybody pay attention. Get your tinfoil hats. I'm going to get mine.
By the way, I need to know where you got that hat, dude. I love that. That cracked me the hell up.
Yeah, I could send you the link for it.
I was dying. That was like, I need that. I need it.
Oh, you skipped it. What if we applied
on your head? Prepare yourself.
There we go. Now this is where I get into it. It shouldn't have any breaks. All right, here we go. What's up, Dago? People are making fun of how I say your name because of my accent. It's like how I say Vegas. I'm glad you're in here. All right.
You make it sound great, bro.
I want everybody to get their tinfoil hats ready right now for this new timeline because I'm going to apply this working delta. Okay. So just bear with me. What if?
Hold on. Thank you, Lana. Good to see you, sis. Thank you very much. And yes, Tommy, we love you all the way around. Thank you so much for that, hon. Appreciate you very much. Great to see you here. Thanks for joining us. You might enjoy this. Glad you're here.
Lana, let me know about this. For real.
Yeah, for real. I want to hear your opinion on this, Lana. So please stick around for a minute for sure. And thank you so much for that. God bless. We love you.
We applied Sherlock's Delta of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds to the Banfield body cam. Just hear me out. That truck is leaving right before the girls get home. Okay, so that would be approximately 1:52 a.m. All right. When you do the rumored 911 call and you subtract the delta, right? So I'm doing the opposite of Sherlock. Instead of adding it, I'm subtracting it. When you do the delta on the rumored 301 911 call, it takes you to 1:53 a.m. That is placed again right after the black truck leaves. Okay. And right before Kaylee and Maddie get home. So it's a little bit weird in general that this is leaving right before the girls are home. Is dude or whoever is driving this car, are they aware that Kaylee and Maddie are about to pop home? So that would be at 1:52 with this delta. The 911 call would really be at 1:53, so still 1 minute later. And that gets it to 1:56 a.m. when the girls arrive home. Now, you go back and you listen to the Linda Lane footage of the car park, you hear a lot of shit going on. You hear screaming from like 138, 140. Okay. So right before all this shit happens, the girls then arrive home shortly after a 911 call is placed. And the Banfield body cam runners would be at 2:04 a.m. Okay, just stick with me here. So again, I've subtracted 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds from this instead of adding it to it. You guys following me? Because this next slide is crazy. Okay, so just again, 1:52 a.m. with the Delta is when this black truck would actually be seen. 1:53 a.m. is when the first rumored 911 call would have came in, which is right after we do hear all the commotion on Linda Lane in the car park. Kaylee and Maddie arrive home shortly after. It makes you wonder what the text was that they got that made them leave, or that what did they know was going on at their house? Were they told to get home now? Something's wrong. And they don't know how wrong. They're a little bit drunk. They're not there. They don't have all of the situation, understanding if they just did get a text. So, so thank you. I am not applying the Delta to the 1:56 a.m. arrival. I've had the thought to do so. And it also is crazy too, because then that gets you to like 12:40, whatever the time would be. And that's right when you see the white BMW and the guy getting picked up in the BMW. And that's when you see people getting dropped off at the car park. So I don't want to confuse people with that, but you make a great point with that. And it just takes me forever to do the math. Okay. All right. But we're going to stick with this being real time for now. So they arrive home 3 minutes after the new Delta 911 call. You see the Banfield runners at what would be 2:04 a.m. So how weird is this? 1:56 a.m., the girls arrive home. 2:04 a.m. would be the Banfield runners. That's about a 7 or 8 minute difference approximately. And how long did they say it took Brian to commit the crime? Right? That's pretty weird. That is like the exact window that they are saying how long it took for Brian Koberger to turn into Jason Bourne. Exactly. There's a 7 minute difference approximately. If you add in the seconds, it's 7 minutes, damn near 26 seconds too, which is wild. How does that line up? How does that line up? And the reason why I decided to run with this theory is because the pace, and whatever you want to say, like the pace of the crimes or the chronological sequence of the times, it doesn't make sense that there would be this giant window in between them if there was two timelines. Okay, because if you go back to before the Delta is applied, Kaylee and Maddie arrive home at 1:56. Well, if you go to Linda Lane right here and you listen to this time frame of 1:53, actually I'll go back a little bit. We listen to this, guys. There's a lot of shit going on. Okay? There's a lot of stuff going on here. I'm going to let like 5 minutes play. I'll start it a little bit earlier. And you can skip this part, Dago, because this isn't the honking yet.
Right. And I wanted to stop for a quick second. This is part of what I wanted to talk to you about real quick before we go any further. That way there's no super confusion or anything. So why, when you did this Delta thing, and it's something that's new to me, this whole Delta stuff, okay? When you go into this, and I know you have a way better understanding than I do. Why did you said you subtracted, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you explain that just a little bit so I can get a better understanding? Anybody that doesn't get it may be able to.
Well, yep, exactly. So if you're familiar with Sherlock Holmes,
Yeah.
he went through all of the Linda Lane footage and he found like, wow, there's a 7-minute, 26-second gap. He then cross-referenced it to Ann Taylor saying, don't think that 7 minutes doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Obviously there's other fragments of Linda Lane missing the 35 minutes and whatnot, but Sherlock was timing this up to the Banfield body cam.
Right.
And he was comparing it to, he's saying that I believe that the Banfield body cam was going on at the same time that the crimes were happening. So he took 3:12, or I guess technically it started at 2:55.
Yeah.
And he added 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds. And it started to really line up with the official time window being, 4 a.m.
Right.
And I was like, okay, that makes sense. I had him on the stream. We talked about it. There are a lot of things that line up when you do that.
Mhm.
However, none of the Linda Lane footage from earlier in the night with the sounds that we hear, like there was so much stuff that's just like random. And like, to me, it didn't make sense. And then when I heard about this 3:01 a.m. on the blotter for a 911 call, I started thinking, I don't know how it came to me, but in my head, I'm like, what if that is when they decided to manipulate the footage and add in a delta to anything after 3:01, which is why Sherlock's works. I go, what about before 3:01? Is that why everything seems to happen with the noise way earlier? So I was like, I'm going to subtract 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds instead of adding it. So I did the opposite of what Sherlock did. And then you go and it's like, wow, from a timeline standpoint, you go through, or you guys just saw me go through it, but essentially the black truck is seen leaving at 1:52. The rumored 911 call would be at 1:53. The girls get home at 1:56. You hear what sounds like 2 gunshots at 1:56.
Right.
And then 7 minutes later, you see Banfield runners at 2:04. I started thinking about, why would the cops be at the Banfield? Everyone's saying, I'm not saying that there's not an argument to this. Just understand I'm entertaining all these thoughts. The suspect vehicle 1 could have been the undercover car circling or surveilling that they thought was Brian Koberger's car. It could have been the Ford Fusion. People have rumored that. I'm not sure if everybody's heard that. But my thought, and this is something you said on my show, Dago, is out of all places of Moscow to be patrolling on a Saturday night, that's where they choose to sit, and they just randomly bump into these frat kids. That entire Banfield body cam interaction, it makes no sense. It's so random.
Right.
But I start to wonder, okay, what if at 1:53 is when that 911 call went out, right after the black truck drives away? Would it make sense that a plain-clothed undercover detail would be sitting on that road to make sure that kids aren't going towards 1122 King Road? Would it make sense for them? And were those frat kids all walking around or leaving because some shit did just go down? Or they were walking over to see what happened? I don't know.
Right. Or I was following you on your show with that too, because with something I had talked about quite a while back, the way that they jog by, nobody points them out, nobody looks at them, nobody even says, hey, what are you doing? Where are you going? They're running. They were stopping people that were walking, but these guys can just go right on by. So I always questioned that anyway, but if they were at the house and something went down and they got the hell out of Dodge and said, we're out, bye, and there they go. You know what I'm saying? So that was always an interesting point. And that, when you bringing that up, that was a huge point to me too. So yes, I absolutely.
I got a quick comment.
Yes, sir.
I haven't seen the whole video yet, so I might be a little confused, but everything I've seen so far, the Delta, the alternate timeline, everything lines up and makes sense to me. I'm grasping it, with just one exception: the crime taking place in 7 minutes and 26 seconds. I didn't believe that Koberger did it in that short a time. I don't believe that 1 or 2 or 3 people did it in that short a time.
Right.
And I don't believe that the Delta exists because that's the length of time it took to commit the crime. And I don't know if that was implied, but yeah, everything else makes sense to me.
Don't get me wrong. I agree. I don't think that happened in that short of a time either. For the Delta and the 7 minutes, 26 seconds, that is a lot of with what is missing from Linda Lane outside of the 35 minutes. And again, if this is your first time hearing it, it's confusing, and I'm aware of that. So I'm not trying to cause more confusion. And I will say to your point, Jesse, I think that the reason why they had to come up with some sort of time frame that this all happened was because Xana and Ethan were home much, much earlier, and the crime was occurring for far longer going on. And I don't think that I think that Ethan and Xana were already at home. And I think that if you listen to when this commotion starts on Linda Lane, it's like at 1:30, 1:38-ish, whenever you start hearing a bunch of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
And then all the vehicle activity starts right around when the girls are supposed to be getting home. So this is also, I'll give the disclaimer for your chat, Dago, and for anybody that didn't listen in to the Hive, this is my first day putting this out there. The only thing that I wanted to do today was to show the 301 rumored 911 call with a Delta subtracted. So that's why, and I thought it was very odd. The truck would leave at 1:52. That rumored 911 call would be 1 minute after. Kaylee and Maddie get home shortly after. It lines up with noises on Linda Lane. And then what I end up showing here, I believe, I'm not going to say it's definitive proof that there's a camera manipulation, but for it happening live, and there's going to be more people digging into this. I'm digging into this more.
Yeah.
You know, it'll show, but when you have the same events happening at two different times, 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds apart on the Linda Lane dumpster cam happening earlier by an hour, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds in the car park angle, which is what you see here, and everything is lined up with that, you have to question, is that why a lot of the video footage makes no sense? Because we think we're looking at the same time frames by the dumpster and the car park, but it's really an hour and 7 minutes, 26 seconds off.
And it's not far-fetched by any means, you guys. I don't know, Bertie, if you saw Christie's Chaos had been working with the videos being manipulated and showed the 1112 camera video and showed them two different videos at two different times side by side. They're absolutely fucking identical, bro.
Yeah.
Identical. I mean, even the lighting is the same. So the manipulation theory on this stuff, it's not far-fetched, folks. It's not even really a conspiracy theory to me at this point because it's obvious that it's happening. So this is just another piece of that.
We did see it in the Karen Reed trial as well. So it's not like there was a precedent to seeing this kind of thing.
Right.
And I would just say this. I'm aware that right now, I'm also stumbling through this. Like, I do my lives a little bit differently. Like, I do it where you guys, everyone's seeing me think out loud in real time. And that's my approach to it, right? Where I dig into it, I use the chat. So stay tuned, over the next couple of days. I'm going to be trying to show you how this video syncs up, where you'll see it in hours, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds apart. Because even on the Banfield body cam, at one point, there's a black truck that drives by. Well, you don't see it on Linda Lane.
Yeah. And
then you have to start to guess, well, did it turn in here? Did it turn in there? Well, if you apply the Delta, boom, there goes the black truck.
Yes. Yeah. And this is, understand that, guys. It's his very first step into this water. Okay.
Right.
So everything starts somewhere. You got to understand. And at the end of it, if it doesn't turn out to be what it is what it is. But at this point, we have to look at everything. We're outside the box now. That's why we're doing stuff like this. So, it's really mind blowing to me because this like flipped so many switches in my mind today. I couldn't even tell you. I can't even tell you. But anyway,
we'll get it cleaned up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, let me see. I need to jump forward a little bit. You said
go forward like 5 minutes. I could see your thumbnail on the bottom. So, go right there.
Right there.
Yep.
Damn, that's a good eye, bro.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Now, this is important, guys. And if you have headphones on or don't have them, put them on so you can hear. You'll hear certain things. This is where I really blew my mind. This one point here, you'll see.
And then you listen to the car park right around 153, which is what I'm saying. The new Delta of the black truck would be driving by at 152. You hear a diesel truck around 152 on here. So I don't know. It's going to take a lot of effort to listen and get the sounds to see if they line up. But there's something to this. I just don't know if I'm piecing the cameras together now the right way. Type of 1 if you're following me. Type of 1 if you think that there might be something there, or type of 2 if you think this is just batshit crazy. I just want to check in because there's also stuff where Sherlock, when he was doing his Delta, when he added it on, the black truck you don't see go across the Linda Lane dumpster. And he was saying, well, maybe they pulled in here, or maybe they pulled in there. Well, if you apply the Delta to some of the timestamps on the camera footage too, guys, you see the black truck every time you're supposed to. And so if they'd lie, if they would do it with body cams, you don't think they would do it with security footage, is my point. And that's why I think 3:01 a.m. is the key for where the Delta should be applied to. I'm not sure if it's after 3:01, you subtract an hour, 7 minutes and 26 seconds, and before 3:01, are you adding an hour, 7 minutes and 20 seconds? But I believe that there is a time that they decided from this time on, anything past it, we're going to add the Delta. And from this time on, anything before it, we're going to subtract the Delta. It's going to be something like that. Because if they're going to mess with the security footage and release this, they're going to have to remember how they chopped it up. So I'm going to play this now. And again, keep in mind the new Delta. We didn't go far enough, Dago, for the honks.
Oh, yeah, it's down further. Do you want me to run more forward then?
Yeah, go forward a little bit, just because this part's hard to hear. The audio's bad. So maybe go like 4 minutes-ish. I'll be able to tell you when it is. When you see me start to talk about the dumpster cam with the white BMW.
Right.
Which also, too, as I was doing this live, nobody gets into the white BMW. I said, oh, they picked somebody up. But in general, I'm just saying the white BMW is very odd.
And it is. Yeah, and it is, by the way, for those of you that don't know this, if you guys remember way back 2 years ago, I spent 3 weeks trying to figure out what that car is. It is absolutely a BMW. I lined it up perfectly with a car guy and everything. The fins or the vents on the side of the doors, everything lines up. That's what the car is. So just want, for those of you that may not have followed that or known that, so you understand what car I'm talking about and why. Is it that far ahead?
Yeah. Yep, keep going.
Oh, I remember.
Wait, no, you should play that part too.
Yeah, this part here.
Start right. Go back a little bit. Let me explain it right from here. Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody who questioned the gunshots, this is going to blow your mind. I've played this a couple times over the last couple of weeks. Let me just show you guys this. Okay, here we go. He made no mention of anyone being stabbed. All of the victims were double tapped in the house. You guys tell me if this sounds like 2 gunshots.
Now, real quick, so nobody gets confused, he's talking about the guy that was in the report, said he put on his uncle's ATF jacket, went over to the house and saw that all the victims had been double tapped. That's who he's referring to here. If you guys remember when I went through the reports, there was some guy that lived next door that had done that.
That's in rapid succession. So this is at 1:56 a.m. on Linda Lane. Okay. 1:56 a.m. on Linda Lane is when you hear this, right? And it would be, were things escalating, and did somebody call 911 as things were escalating? Okay, so this is 3 minutes after all this shit started happening, or 3 minutes after the alleged 911 call. So were things escalating? Were things getting out of hand? And someone's like, oh my God, this is terrible. Called 911. And now listen to what plays out. And now and that's right when the girls would have been getting home. You know what I mean? So I have to piece together the Linda Lane footage. And I don't know which footage to start with. But it's a little bit odd that all lines up with when they get home, it's just crazy. Like, doesn't that seem like way more of a chronological timeline? Somebody leaves, things are escalating, 911 call happens, then you hear what sounds like gunshots. There's people that say they snuck into the crime scene wearing an ATF jacket that said it looks like everyone was double tapped in the house. You know, we don't know where Ethan and Xana are, but yet we have Kaylee and Maddie down to the minute. You know, whether it's two timelines, whether with sex involved, who knows? But I'm just saying like my human instinct for like how this crime would happen tells me that if things are escalating and they don't want to be around it, or they know what's about to happen, they're going to get out of Dodge. The people that are still there are probably freaking out. They're calling 911. Whether or not the person escalating it knows 911 is called or not, you know, you go from 153 and then, 156, the girls get home. 156, you hear on this footage, again, right here on this, it's 1:56 a.m. All of the victims were double tapped in the house. You guys tell me if this sounds like 2 gunshots in rapid succession. So then now you start to piece together. Dago, pause it. You start to.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
One of the things too, I just want to say this. You have to remember, Chrissy, Steve, and Olivia talked about how their niece called them and said somebody came and shot the party up. That interview has not been scrubbed. You can still go watch it, and nobody on Enton, Banfield, Keith at Dateline, Amazon, nobody's talked about it. And it's mind-blowing to me because you have the parents talking about gunshots. You have that happening at 1:56. You have the Chapin saying 2 a.m.'s a dark hour. You have a guy sneaking in with an ATF jacket saying all the victims look like they were double tapped, like somebody deer hunted in there. You look in the kitchen and you look at the blood spatter that looks like it could be there. And what's
Bethany describes the light she saw in the interview
flash
in detail as orange, like fire. That's not anything other than, in my opinion, muzzle flash, I'll say.
The cops on the body cam also said, look for shell casings.
Look for shell casings. You have Gunderson when he's
Yeah, Bertie, there's a hole. We went through the photographs, and multiple people pointed out in the siding on the side of the house that would be Maddie's bedroom, the possibility of there being a bullet hole in the side of that house that I've analyzed multiple times. I don't mean to interrupt you. I just want to throw that in there as well. So go ahead.
No, and I was just going to say, too, like there's all the stuff that we just said, and then Gunderson is canvassing the apartments, and some kid opens his door, and he's like, yeah, people texted me if they were okay. I didn't hear any gunshots, though.
And they left between 3 and 5 a.m. That was the same canvassing situation that was found out yesterday.
Right. And my whole point is this. Whether they are gunshots or they are not gunshots, or I don't know why the niece would have called them and told them that. I don't know why they would have left that interview up. My point is this. I get, like, obviously I respect Lana. I respect her work. Dago, same with you, right? Like, I will get flack for stuff, so I'm not hating on anybody else. I hate when it's done to me. My whole point is this.
Of course.
There has to come a time where you have to open your mind up to, is is this like, are the confines of the documents accurate enough to even solve this? And if they're not, then you have to start to like trust your own ears, trust your own eyes, trust your own gut. And to me, you know, again, you have to think if it's gunshots or if it's not gunshots. Okay, well, has anybody explained any of the commotion going on?
No, and that's why we have to look a little bit further ahead than what we have, in my opinion. Yes, I agree with you. Like I said, guys, we've been in a box for 3 years. It's time to step out of the box and start looking around to see what will make some of this make some sense. That's all. It doesn't mean that it's going to end up being proof or proved as fact. It just means we're looking at it to see what it means. That's all.
I personally think there's value in looking at other cases and similar cover-ups, and you can sort of see the same playbook being used in the Charlie Kirk case, the Delphi case, the Karen Reed case. The same tactics appear to be being used. And when you see sort of overlaps in those cases, I think it helps you understand what might be going on here.
There's a lot of parallels, Jesse. I agree. Yeah.
I agree with that too. And one of the things, so this is a great example. So Lana said it's normal to say to look for shell casings. If you didn't say that as a reminder, then you would fail as a supervisor. So I'm cool with them saying to look for that because that's protocol.
Yeah.
Again, that's accurate. But also you have Ashley Jennings and Brett Payne showing up without their body cams on at 5 p.m. that same day. There's so many other things that protocol's not followed on. So I guess, I don't know. My only thing is like picking and choosing what is normal and what's not normal. It's kind of like with Dylan. Like, are we going to take everything that Dylan says with a grain of salt, or is like certain things that she says fact?
Yeah.
Or, right? Like that's just my brain. It's not, saying anybody's wrong.
No. I get what you're saying.
It certainly wasn't protocol to let Hunter Johnson roam around the house with a knife in his hand.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. We got to get the recorded interviews.
Yeah. What'd you say, Bertie?
I said we got to get the recorded interviews instead of the written BS.
Well, I think having both is good, but I do agree the recorded interviews are going to give. There's more like live emotion and stuff to be able to follow with that as well. But yeah, agreed. I want to look at it all of it and go forward from there. But yeah, she's right.
The text messages. Who was Kaylee talking to when she's at the grub truck? The conversations with fathers. What did Dylan say to her father? These kind of things. I don't know if those are lost forever. Is there any hope of ever getting your hands on that?
I have no idea.
I don't know. And I just saw somebody say too, the gunshot stuff came from the G's. I'm not trusting a word they say. Don't get me wrong. They say a lot of crazy stuff, but also they're the only family that's pointing their fingers saying that Bill Thompson's a rat and he didn't do anything that they wanted.
Yeah. That's
not true though. The gunshot stuff isn't just coming from the G's. It's coming from Dylan and Bethany themselves. It's coming from the police officers responding. There's several different sources that indicate that they believe there might have been a firearm involved.
Yeah, not just a prank with a firecracker or a firework by a fireman holding a bow and arrow or whatever was said. Right. But yeah, look, and Dago, I'm gonna bounce. I'm saying that just because I want to real quick before I go. I want to say this.
Yeah.
This live that we're watching, this is truly live. So everything you're seeing, I'm putting together, opening tabs, clicking tabs. So if it's slow and people are like, just get on with it, like that's how the Saturday digs go for me. I put out a theory and then I'm looking at my chat, I'm reading it. Stay tuned. It could just be nothing. It might just be nothing. I'm okay with that. I'd rather at least have somebody who takes what I say, runs with it. And if they debunk it, okay, fine. I'm going to stop wasting my time too. I'm at the end of the day trying to get to the truth. And I don't think that we've been handed anything close to it.
No, and I absolutely appreciate it and respect it wholeheartedly, what you're doing. Again, it's what got me thinking about what I wanted to talk about today. And it's very interesting as you go forward in this. The honks with the horns and everything lines up, guys. It truly does make you look at it and go, hold on a minute. Like, how does this work out like this? It just, everybody has for so long in this case, it's just a coincidence, Dago. It's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. Come on, guys. There's never, ever in my life gonna be your life, our lives, that many coincidences in one damn case. There's got to be somewhere where the ends meet somewhere, where it makes something make sense. And that's all we're trying to figure out. We could go through 15 different versions of something like this, and it's not any of them. And at the end of it, one will finally click. That's why we do this.
Right.
And maybe it may all be wrong. It is what it is. If it is, it is. It's no big damn deal. Or it may all be right. You're never going to know until you go through it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sorry, I just saw Lana's text or her comment.
What'd she say? Where? Hold on. Love your
passion. Oh, I love you too, Lana.
Box that's close to another box without. I love you, Lana.
Right, I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend. Thank you, Dago, for letting me up. And like I said, stay tuned. I'm going to piece this all together. I'm really I wouldn't have put out this initial, this initial delta if I wasn't going to take it further. Right. So I'm going to see it through.
Of course.
And it is what it is. I'm not out here trying to be some professional. I'm just the crazy tinfoil hat conspiracy guy anyways, but I'm trying to help,
You do awesome, brother. You do absolutely awesome. So, absolutely. Right. I appreciate you very much.
Nice to meet you, Birdie.
I'm looking forward to hooking up with you again soon too, bro.
Yep, I'll come on your show. Shoot me an email with some dates, and I'll pop over on date, over here. And Hemisphere, nice to meet you as well. And thank you to everybody in the chat. I will talk to you guys soon.
Absolutely, brother. Much love. See you soon.
Yep, cheers. Peace.
All right. Awesome. Absolutely, Lana. As always, you do very well at it too. 1 second, guys.
So what do you think, Hemi? Is Jeff H working for the same people as George Zinn?
I have no clue, man. To be honest with you, I don't really.
That's great.
I think they are similar characters, just paid distractors.
Very positive. Okay, this one part here, I'm gonna finish playing right here and show you what he was talking about. That really was kind of interesting to me, right about here. Like I said, the Delta thing is something that I'm new to. I'm still trying to work it out in my mind. If it does play out to be that way, it's interesting. Like I said, I'm always, you guys know me, I'm willing, because I want truth so bad, I'm willing to look at any angle and work through it, guys. If it plays out, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's it. Nothing wrong with it. We're not hurting anything by going through all this stuff. Understanding that these are all just theories, folks. It's not anything based on fact. There's no fact coming from it at some point. It's just a way to look at it to see if we can get to some truth here. That's all. And understand that's all there is.
Is when we see this car. And notice there's a car that goes in behind it. I'm not sure if people have ever noticed that before. Okay? So there's a car. We see the white. This is the white BMW. Notice when the white BMW turns in, there's another car that's going towards King Road. Okay? There are two cars driving in here. Look at, boom. I'm going to put it in slow motion. See that here? And I'm going to put this in slow motion. And here comes the second car now. Okay, so there's this car that comes up here and is going to pick somebody up. There's another car that's continuing to go towards King Road. That's wild. But this is at 12:43 a.m. Well, that doesn't make any sense. But this is what I'm saying. I think they've subtracted the delta from some times, and I think they've added that delta to others. Because if you take 12:43, if you take 12 and add the 1 hour, 7 minutes, 26 seconds, what time does that get us to? That gets you to 1:50 a.m. when all this shit is going on. So if we hear all that noise and this is really 150 and somebody's getting picked up after all that noise goes down, that's a little bit interesting, isn't it? That makes this make way more sense. So maybe if this is actually 150-ish, right before the girls get home, right after Dylan's truck leaves. So not Dylan's truck, the black truck is leaving. This guy's getting picked up. That's effing weird. Right? So if this is 150, 2 minutes after this guy gets picked up is when you see. So think about this. That's actually 150 when the BMW picks him up. Then at 152, you see the black truck leave. 153 would be the rumored 911 call. The girls then get home at 156, but then you hear the two odd gunshots on Linda Lane. So I don't know, but that sequence of events for 4 people being killed makes something inside of me like that clicks. Like they've manipulated the timeline up and down to cause more confusion rather than just doing it all the same. They took half of it and they added the delta. They took the other half and they subtracted the delta. Because what are the chances that when you apply the delta, the black truck's leaving, and then so that would have been subtracting the delta. And then for this one, when you add the delta, somebody's getting picked up the road over. And did you guys just hear that too? Dude, listen, turn your freaking headphones up right now. Do it right now. Oh my God, I've not noticed this until right now. I'm not even trying to be dramatic. Holy hell. You guys, I have goosebumps. What did I just stop and show you guys on this? What time did I just say it was? 150? Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Dude, you can hear the freaking cars. You can hear the car horn. Turn it up.
He's talking about the Banfield horn beeping. Remember from before how that lines out in it. What he was getting all wet. Like I kind of was like, wow, shit. The beeping in the background from that lining up with this, with the timeline thing that he's talking about, it all is pretty wild. Real wild.
Oh my God. Dude, that's what they did. They freaking added delta, subtracted delta. What time did I update the timeline up?
Hold on, Fizzy. You said go back what, a minute and a half? There it is. Hold on. One second. Hold on.
Updated the timeline up and down to cause more confusion.
I think I went back a little too far, Fizzy. Sorry. To where it's at 13:30 and goes to 13:20. Okay, hold on.
And did you guys?
Is that right there, Fizzy? Yeah, he is too, Lana. It's a damn shame too. Is that far enough, Fizzy, or do you need me to do it again? I just want to make sure we're hitting it, what you're trying to get. No. Okay, so that one is 1241. Yeah. 1241 to 43. Yeah.
Guys, just hear that too? Dude, listen. Turn your freaking headphones up right now. Do it right now. Oh my God, I've not noticed this until right now. I'm not even trying to be dramatic. Holy hell. You guys, I have goosebumps. What did I just stop and show you guys on this? What time did I just say it was? 150? Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Dude, you can hear the freaking cars. You can hear the car horn. Turn it up. Oh my God. Dude, that's what they did. They freaking added delta, subtracted delta.
There was a lot of noise going on for being such a quiet night. There was a lot of noise going on in the background that night, you guys, all night long. Okay, and this Linda Lane stuff, if you listen to it and realize the difference, there were people saying how close or how far away this was from the house and all that. This is like a fishbowl, you guys, and it's really, really tightly packed. It's not that far away. So there are noises you're hearing that you're going to hear that could come from the house. There are also noises in some of these that you hear that are right in front of right here. Okay. You got to differentiate the distance by listening to it and so on and so forth and realizing what you're hearing.
Yeah. When I listened to the 2 a.m. to 3 a.m.
150, 120.
Well, hold on, Hemi. Sorry.
No, that was me.
I'm going to shit a golden
Or
fucking
Robert.
chicken.
Hold on. That's what I'm trying to understand as well, Fizzy, is this Delta thing. That's what I didn't have. I'm getting it a little bit.
12:44:18. Oh my God. Oh my God.
So let
What
him
is
re-explain this, and then we'll
12:44:18?
get to that.
What is 12:44 a.m. plus 1 hour, 7 minutes, 26 seconds. $150, $126. 150, 120. Holy shit. Holy shit. That is mind-blowing. You hear the honks 1 hour and 7 minutes and 26 seconds. They freaking split the Linda Lane dumpster cam and this car park cam. They're an hour, 7 minutes, and 26 seconds off. And they were able to do that because we can't see shit on this camera. And so we're guessing what do the cars look like. And we can't see if they're going to leave and they're going to go out across the Linda Lane. What? That is wild. And I get it. We've sunk all these up before. But you got to understand, if we were syncing up 1:51 a.m. here, and if we're syncing up 1:51 on the dumpster cam, we're technically looking at 1:51 that's real, and then we'd be looking at an hour, 7-minute, 26 delta. So we need to sync up 1:51 on this, and then we need to go find almost the hour, 7-minute, 26 seconds, and line that up. And I bet we will find so many answers doing that.
And like he said, you guys, he's just kicking this off. He's going to look into it, do a lot more research with it, break it down a lot more. And if it comes to be something, that's great. If it doesn't, it so be it. You know, it's no big deal. But it was really interesting because, like I said, it tipped my brain sideways to start thinking about the rest of this. The whole 2 a.m. thing, folks, and about the fact and the theory that I've wondered for a while, and about Xana and Ethan very possibly being home, considering there's no timeline for when they got home. And I know a lot of you probably don't understand this Delta thing. I don't either completely. Okay, and we'll get to a point where we do. I hope. If we need to. We may not even need to. I'm just saying. Everybody is trying to get an answers. I agree with Lana that we do need more of the video interviews because they do tell. They're a lot more telling. And I've also gained more of an outlook on some of the people that have been interviewed. I'll tell you right now, there's a couple of people I'm not comfortable with. And I do want to see an interview with Molly Gray badly. After watching, I've always had issues with Kayla Wynn, and her interview just made it worse for me. There's certain people I have a lot of, like, something happens when I see them talk. I'll just put it that way. Jeff Pay's interview is important. Gotcha. See, it's what I'm saying. I agree with that. We need to see more of these. Yeah. No, absolutely. I know what you're talking. I know what it is, but I don't have a full understanding with it within this yet. I'm still working on that myself.
In order to understand it, don't we need to know what the purpose of the Delta is? Like,
yes.
What is the purpose of the 7 minutes and 26 seconds? What does it symbolize? What is it covering up?
And that's what
maybe I misunderstood Bertie when he said, he mentioned the time, because that is roughly the time they said Brian was in the house, right? If you really break it down, it does line up with the time and that is interesting.
And that's why Bertie got so up on that, because of that situation, right?
Which makes sense to me, because that's a significant comparison. But again, I really strongly feel this crime took upwards of 30 to 60 plus minutes, if not more than an hour.
I got you these.
Oh, that's very cute, honey. Thank you. Yeah, agreed, Jesse. I do agree. It's another angle to look at. And if it comes to be nothing, then it does. If it does become something, then that's even better. So that's all. When we get better understanding of this Delta thing and so on and so forth, I think Sherlock does explain that a lot more within his videos, if you follow them, so on and so forth. Yes, thank you, Deborah. I really
think Bertie nailed it on the head when he said, we're going through the documents, we're doing all, Lana does things the right way, but I can't remember how he framed it, but I think he's on to something.
Yeah, we all do.
I think he's on to something.
Yeah,
he's on to something though that
I agree.
Perhaps an unconventional approach,
right,
is what's needed, and it's not for everybody. But I'm glad that people like Bertie are out there. It's actually not even for me. I prefer more of a straight and narrow, structured, the way Lana does it and the way it's been done here.
Yes,
I sort of prefer that, but I think there's a need for what Bertie's doing, and I appreciate the fact that he's doing it. And I do follow him, and I am interested in what he's coming up with.
Exactly.
And I think it's important not to ignore that.
Yeah, and like he says, this is not his only train of thought, folks. He does things the way we do it too, with the straightforward approach, head on, trying to go fact based 100%. But there's nothing wrong with tipping to the side a little bit, looking at it a different way. If nothing else is making any sense, you have to step out of that box sometimes and say, okay, let's look at it this way and see what happens. That's all. I absolutely love Birdie and have nothing but absolute respect for how he does things and why he does things. And I absolutely agree with you, Jesse. It needs to be there, folks. We can't always follow the tracks in one direction. That's why they branch off sometimes. Sometimes you never know what you may run into if you go that to the right a little bit. Just don't know. So yeah, I agree with you, bud.
I was dissecting the Linda Lane from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. The other night, and about 2:42 in the morning, you hear what sounds like a scream, like a blood curdling scream, and it's like an echo coming from towards the 1122 house.
Yeah, it could. Well, anything that comes out of that area does echo a lot because it's like a fishbowl. So, and that's I think somebody else has said that before too, Robert. Yeah. So there's things that you need to listen at, or look at and listen to. Sorry, in different aspects. Yeah, exactly, Deborah. At this point in time, just about anything could be plausible, and that's why I think a lot of us are looking at different things, different ways sometimes, just to try to see. Lana spent an entire day dealing with church bells, folks. Think about that. An entire day, phone calls, all sorts of stuff, trying to pull some truth out of somewhere. I mean, that's what I'm saying is at some point with this case, we all have enough passion for this that we want the truth that bad. We're all willing to look at many different aspects of this, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. It doesn't have to be a fact. It doesn't mean you have to believe in it or even understand it for some aspects. If it does work out, though, imagine you're going to get a little bit of an answer a little bit of relief, maybe. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. And like I said, with Birdie, he's trying to help in any way he can. Same as I am, same as Lana does. Robert, everybody else that does this, that's all it's about, guys. We're all in the same direction. So, not to mention, I want to throw something else in there. Yesterday, Senior Wazowski pointed something out that really caught me sideways too. He's been analyzing the body cams like piece by piece by piece by piece. And he's looking at it from he's a retired police officer. So he's looking at it from a police officer's point of view, listening to everything that's being said word by word by word by word. And noticed yesterday that at some point, the one neighbor right next door says they left between 3 a.m. and 5, or they left at 3 a.m. and came back at 5 a.m. If I'm correct. I don't want to mess that up, but who left at 3 a.m. and came back at 5 a.m. And it makes you wonder. Well, Birdie talked about those hours at some point. I think Rolla brought that up to him. And that's what I'm saying is all these little pieces at some point can fit into make one big piece and maybe make some actual sense. So anyway, I'm sorry. Very interesting. Very interesting. So back to where we were at. Okay. Do you have any thoughts, Jesse, about thus far what we're talking about? Going back to the Xana and Ethan thing. Maybe they were at home. That's why we didn't get an actual time. Yeah,
like I said, I think the theory, as I understand it, with the Delta, makes complete sense as far as I think that it was the Birdie was implying that Kaylee was on the phone with somebody who's in the house, right? The text messages back and forth with Kaylee were somebody telling her to get back to the house or telling her what's going on. She's finding out real time that she needs to get home because something's kicking off at home. And that's why they took their carbonara and they didn't go to Big Bad John's or John's Alley or whatever it's called.
John's Alley. Yeah.
And I get that. It all sort of lines up. But I'm still trying to grasp what the significance of the 7 minutes and 26 seconds is.
That's what we have to get back to at some point. We're not going to do that today, Jesse, because it would be so much. You have to follow Sherlock to understand it, to know it, because I really didn't know it. Thank you, Lana. I love you, dear. She says real quick, the answers will come in 2 to 4 weeks when they have to respond to this latest FOIA request. Someone or someone's about to blow. I promise. I have created a tic-tac-toe affected when you have them. LFG. Absolutely. Thank you, Lana. And thank you for everything.
Looking forward to it, Lana.
Yeah, we all are. We all appreciate everything you do, all the hard work you put in, and God bless, hon, for doing what you did for Tommy last night. I didn't get to be there because I had family around, but I really appreciate that. Amazing stuff. Nothing but love for you, sis. But yeah, I will go back at some point, guys, and look into this Delta thing because I don't have a complete and total full understanding of it. But here's my thought. Okay, I'm just going to simplify what I was talking about today. What it made my mind start thinking about, and then somebody threw something else into that and made it even more interesting to me. That we didn't get a timeline for Xana or Ethan when they came home. We don't have one. We don't know one. They lied in the beginning, as they've done multiple times, and said that they were home at 1:45. Well, we know they weren't. We know they weren't. Okay. That's just a generic statement they made, just to throw it out there, and it's bullshit. And I'm gonna say that it's bullshit.
Well, and in the interviews, you can sort of see they dance around it. Nobody wants to commit to knowing anything about what was going on with. They don't even want to admit that they even know Ethan or where he lives or where his apartment is. And
yeah,
I really think there's just so much dishonesty coming from everybody, but Dylan and Bethany in particular, and what they know and what they, we can't spell their names right. We don't even know how to pronounce Goncalves.
No. I'll be up here for a minute, Senor. Come on up, bro.
Doesn't Dylan at some point say Kaylee Goncalves? Like she's never met her before?
They butchered their names all over the place, dude. Yeah. And it's crazy. Ethan and Xana and their whereabouts not being talked about by Dylan and Bethany is disgusting. See? And I'm gonna out them. Dylan didn't call Xana first for nothing that night, right? And that's the thing. Here's the thought, though. I don't know if they were home at any specific time. None of us do. But I can't wait to see that either, Lana. What if they were home? What if they were home in the room with the door shut? Okay. And what if the person that took their lives was in that house at the same time? And Kaylee and Maddie come in and walk into this. Okay. That's the point that I was getting at.
Well, we do have someone saying that they were home. I mean, Jeff Kernodle did say they were home at midnight, right? So it's not like
eating pizza. That's my point.
And we've made the assumption that he was wrong, but maybe we shouldn't have made that assumption.
That's what I'm saying. So, and again, this is all absolute theory, folks. Don't forget that.
Didn't Ethan have his own? I was gonna say, didn't Ethan have his own apartment? Could they have been eating pizza at his apartment and then went back over to 1122?
Could be. Again, I find it really odd that the girls try to suggest that they have no idea where Ethan's apartment is. And, you just picture yourself living with somebody, and Ethan practically lived there by all accounts. And nobody knows the rough whereabouts of his apartment. They didn't even say like it's on this side of town. They don't know if it's on the south side, the north side. For all they know, it's in Pullman. The way they describe it, that's just impossible. It's impossible.
The only thing I think that is ever put out about it, I think, is Bethany saying it's over by 76 gas station or something. I think is what she says in her interview. Well, okay, how? By where? You know what I mean? I think they know. Just as much as everybody, like Lana just pointed out, every interview we've seen, and this tells me one thing, folks. One of the main questions in every single interview is about drugs. Absolutely about drugs, okay? And you guys know that I have felt from almost the beginning that the basis of this entire crime is based on a drug issue, period, okay? I know Jesse knows that. Jesse feels that. He's felt that the same way. That's one thing that we truly 100% agree on and always have. So at that point, they ask every one of these people in this interview about drugs. I don't know if that's standard protocol to do that or not, but it's kind of odd that every single person that's interviewed that they ask says, no, there was no drug use except for one, maybe two. And when they go into it hard. It's not just a slight thing. They throw Kaylee under the bus with the cocaine and Xana and all this other shit. But nobody else will admit to that. And it's obvious that it's bullshit. I'm sorry. It's ridiculous.
I'd like to say one thing to put this in perspective, and I've said this to you before, Dago, but I want to tell the chat and tell the two other panelists.
I'm going to do that.
I come from a town of 100,000 people, and there was a cold case in my town, a 20-year-old case. A young girl went missing. It's never been solved. A large percentage of the population of that town knows exactly what happened to that girl. I believe that law enforcement knows. I believe that her friends know. There's a lot of people in that town that know exactly what happens, and everybody's kept it quiet. Nothing's been done about it. So it puts it in perspective that when I say I think everybody's lying, I've seen this from, up close and personal, from my own personal experience. It's very possible in a small town for everybody to be in on the same lie.
Oh, of course. Of course.
Can I have a say? I got to go. I want to say something before I leave.
Go ahead.
And I've been biting at the bit, and I've been letting everybody have their say. This is the reason why I think it's very significant with this new timeline theory, because we all know that the timeline that they originally gave us was a bunch of load of crap. It don't add up at all. I think, if anything, if it is proven that they manipulated the timeline, that pretty much throws everything out the window. And we're that much closer to knowing the truth about what exactly happened in the events that it happened. That's the reason why I keep harping on the Kaylee's phone activity from 10 till 2 o'clock in the morning, or 3 o'clock. I know right up about 4 o'clock. No, right up about 3 o'clock when she was talking to her boyfriend. That's all I know. That's after 2 a.m. What I'm saying is what happened from the time she got to the grub truck till she got pulled up and they went home. She was actively on her phone at that time. I'd like to know what those text messages was, or anything, even from the corner club. So the synchronizing all these events that's happening throughout that whole night, even seeing and proving the timeline of Xana and Ethan, if they was already at the house or whatever.
Right.
I think this would be a huge deal if it's proven. It'll line everything up. I got to go, guys.
All right, Hemi. Thanks for joining us. Take care, brother. Oh, and where'd he go? He dropped down too. Okay. Yeah, that's a good point, Hemi. I understand. I agree with you completely. And yes, what Lana just said is kind of interesting. These liars, LFG, Ethan's pants rolled off in the front of the shower area and not in front of the bed. Tells me that Ethan could have been in the shower when this happened, and he comes out of the shower and, well, yeah, what comes next. You need to see Xana's bedroom to see where a towel could be or would have been. That's a good point. Good catch. And good eye, as always, Lana. Where did Senor go?
He seemed to be fiddling with his camera.
He's still learning all this stuff, struggling with it, but he's getting there slowly but surely. Excuse me. So there again, it just makes me wonder deeply, folks. Were they there? We know, and that's the thing, is I've always wondered, have they been there for a while? Xana's in her underwear, okay? And if you guys remember right, when Ethan was found, he was completely disrobed. Xana just made a good point. Could he have come out of the shower? This all happened and blah, blah, blah. That just tells me it feels like you've been there for a while. If your clothes are off, you're like getting comfortable for the night, so on and so forth. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you wouldn't think they would strip you after they
no.
After you're already gone.
Right. So it makes me wonder and believe that they were there for a minute, possibly, you guys. So it's very possible, and it's very plausible, in my opinion, that the other two come into the house. And I'm going to throw something else out there that I had said earlier. I'm going to say it again, because somebody in the chat threw it out, and it kind of flashed. And maybe I still believe that they were being watched and followed from the corner club to the grub truck all the way home in some aspect, okay?
Yeah, just like Jack saying that he had never met Kaylee up until that night.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, Xana, Atlanta, that's his sock still on tells me he was in the process of stripping, which is interesting because of the socks. The socks tell me he did. Yeah, that's a good point too. Good point. And yeah, Robert, I agree. But going back to that, I'm going to complete this thought, guys. I promise I am. I'm just looking at too much stuff at one time. What if, since I claimed that I believe that they were being watched, followed, whatever you want to call it, from the time they were at the bar to all the time they got home, what if they were trying to keep them away from the house? What if, Jack said that
as well.
Yeah, Showalter said that somebody had asked him. I can't remember who exactly and when.
I think it was Jake Schreiger, because he was friends with Jake Schreiger, who was Maddie's boyfriend at the time.
Okay, so maybe that's it then. That had asked him to keep an eye on them. Okay, somebody brought something up in the chat that really kind of like, wow. Hold on a minute. Said it was Jake. You're right. What if they were? What if they were trying to keep those two away from the house at that period of time? Maybe because they were in the midst of what was going on. I don't know, you guys. It's just another thought to add to this. Like, there's too many things going on my mind at one time, but I'm just saying.
As far as Lana referring to the socks being on, and that means he wasn't in the shower, I can think of one other activity that wouldn't require taking off your socks, but might require taking off everything else. Just pointing that out. But
so, from my understanding, Showalter's sister is the one that had said in her interview that he was asked to keep an eye on the girls when she put that video out telling everyone to leave him alone. That's right. Good point. And thank you for that, Phil. Sorry, you guys. Hold on a minute. Okay. Now, Jesse, repeat what you just said. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying that you wouldn't necessarily need to take off your socks for another activity that wouldn't involve anything to do with the shower. I've been known to leave the socks on from time to time.
Well, I always do, but not in the shower, but still otherwise. Yeah, I always have my socks on except for.
I don't think you were picking up what I was throwing down.
I know exactly what you were saying.
Sounds like Robert got it.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I always wear mine.
I think this happened earlier, just like the Dr. Moore case. Yeah, I agree with that too. I think it did too. But do you think, Lana, that there's two separate timelines as far as when they were killed? That two were killed at one time and two were killed at another time? Does that fit with you, with what you do, or with what you're going on? Why would I strip in the bathroom and then run into the bedroom and sit? Stop. You're killing me today with this sit, Lana. Stop.
I've probably been known to do that myself, actually.
Oh, my God. It is the weekend. The humor does come rolling. That's a fact.
No, I used to pick my wife up and put her on my shoulder and run in the bedroom.
Whatever works, guys. Whatever works. I don't know, guys. It's just part of like I said, something I've been thinking about and wondering. I don't know. It's just I just kind of want everybody's thoughts on what do you think about that? You know what I mean? Do you think it's possible? I definitely do believe that the timeline has all been a lie. I do believe I don't believe that this happened at 4 a.m. There's too much noise going on in the background, through Linda Lane, all over the place, guys, all night long. There's way too much noise going on.
Yeah, because if you look at the 254 alcohol stop there on Banfield, and about 3:12 in the morning, you see that group of people running away from the house, that were caught on body cam. It just doesn't mesh with the 4 a.m. timeline. This crime took place in between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. Like you said in the beginning, Dago. Why all of a sudden the shift in the timelines is because suspect vehicle 1 supposedly came into the area at 3:30 in the morning.
Robert, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
How many people do you think know something about what happened and are lying about it?
Pretty much with the whole damn town.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I think everybody knows. I think law enforcement knows. I think lawyers know. I think definitely all the kids, all the students know. Certainly everybody that was present for the 911 call knows. And, if you can come to terms with that and agree with that, then what would they all cover up? What would they all collaborate to cover up? They're not going to collaborate over a personal vendetta or a fight or a love triangle. They're not going to all participate in covering something like that up. It would sort of indicate drugs, money, some kind of something that they're all sort of involved in and participating in and benefiting from.
Drug connection.
I think that's kind of to me, it's a clue. To me, that's, the 911 call is a clue. And the fact that everybody's basically showing their hand when you see them interviewed and when you hear them say the answers they're giving, they're being evasive. They're not answering questions that they should be able to answer, all of them, whether it's Emily Alant or the Wynn girl or any of the students. I haven't seen one of them be honest about anything really. Lying about the drugs, lying about the partying. I thought it was particularly ridiculous when Dylan said that, oh, Xana's mom, I heard she was an alcoholic. I'm pretty sure Dylan was well aware that Xana's mom was more than an alcoholic.
Yeah, of course. And Lana says, that's why it could be a 253 and then a 420. That exactly. That's where I was going with that. Lana's so good. I'm glad you see it that way, possibly too. Drug CIs, people ratting people out to get out of trouble. That's the only way this is a cover up, because then CIs were killed. Okay, gotcha. There's definitely something. It goes to that. It always goes to that, in my opinion. It's always going to go back to that, because that's where the truth is at, within that right there. So, welcome, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, because why else would you have a coroner saying that the toxicology is a non-factor? Yeah, are they trying to hide? Are they trying to hide the drug use amongst the people in the house? Is that why they're saying that the toxicology is a non-factor? That's a good way to cover up a drug culture in the entire city of Moscow.
Well, that's a good point. That is a good point. Dr. Moore looked so guilty until I did what I did. I mean, that's what happens when someone's framed. Yeah, very good point. That's truth.
It does sound like Bill Thompson and Kathy Mabbitt and that entire network of lawyers and officials in Moscow have been just filthy dirty, covering shit up and framing people and putting people doing dirty behind backdoor deals with informants and this and that. Like it sounds like Kathy Mabbitt was in Bill Thompson's back box. She would have told us aliens did it if Bill Thompson told her to. She was going to do whatever Bill Thompson told her to do, in my opinion.
Right, exactly. Lana said it seems to be more of a cover up as to why the people were killed. See, that's where I've kind of gone with it too. Dr. Moore was picked before the murder of Brian Drake, right? Good point. And that's kind of what my idea was with it, was that why this happened is what they're covering up. And I truly still feel that way. And it still relates to drugs, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Not to mention, there was something else I was going to say, and I lost my thought again. Damn it. Oh, with Kathy Mabbitt, you brought her up. That's another thing that bothers me. I want to throw back out there to you guys. Now that I saw it on the body cam, which it's been a minute, but it's still something that is kind of crazy to me. When we saw these new reports come out, and it relates to you, the time that Kathy Mabbitt actually went in that house, this is something else that I think the defense should have used against the prosecution, truly. I still think I don't know if it could be now, but it should have been. The fact that when we pulled Idaho law and looked at it, which is pretty standard protocol anywhere, every scene I've ever worked, it's the same thing. As a first responder, it's the same thing. Oh, JC's gone again now. She said she's right back. Okay. So knowing that the coroner has to go in and basically take custody of the bodies and all that kind of stuff in a scene like this before anybody can do anything else, including the damn prosecutor and his little minion, okay, says a whole lot. Kathy Mabbitt was there at noon, you guys. She was there at noon. and they said, please have her staged over where such and such is, and blah blah blah. And she didn't go in the house till, according to the report, between 7 and 9 that night. What the hell were they doing in that house all day long that they couldn't allow her to come and do her job and then process the scene, so on and so forth? And meanwhile, you guys, they allow the prosecutor and his team of people to go inside and do a walkthrough before she's even done anything. That's way illegal, folks. I'm sorry, but it is. And that's based on their own law. So again, there's things like that that just don't make any sense, that seem to have happened through the whole thing, that I'm going to call out as well. Again, and it's not, nobody called it out. Nobody said it. Nobody said a word. I don't get stuff like that. Anyway, I'm sorry. I know that's a little off subject for where we were, but I just want to throw that back in there because you brought Kathy up again. It's crazy to me. She was there at noon and didn't even look at these bodies until 7 or 8, 9, between 7 and 9 that night. Okay. It wasn't 5 like they told us. 7 and 9 o'clock that night, unless they lied in the report again. Okay. Seems like they really stalled on the search warrant, 5 to 6 hours to get that warrant. My butt doesn't process the scene. She just says, yep, they're dead. Yeah. And that, but based on the law, she has to be able to do that before they can process the scene. That's what the law reads like, at least. That they can't allow anybody to go in and do anything until she takes custody and says, yeah, they're dead. Okay, now you can do what you got to do. That's the law. And they completely disregarded that. They had people all over that crime scene the whole time doing whatever the hell they're doing. It's crazy. I just don't understand it.
See, what's weird is I went back and watched the body cam from Nunez where he was questioning Dylan. And you could hear Dylan say that Kaylee was dancing on the second floor and then she ran up to the first floor. And Dylan says, I saw her dancing on the second floor and then she ran up to the third floor. And then she ran back and then she screamed, there's someone here, ran back down the stairs and then ran back up. If your door is closed, how are you seeing Kaylee dancing? How are you seeing Kaylee run up the stairs and run back down the stairs if your door is quote unquote closed?
Yeah, well, agreed. Well, that's a whole other mess of words. And that's very true. Very true. I'm just basing this on what I heard on the body cam SRB. I think it was 12:10, maybe a little bit later than that. I just said noon is a standard point, but maybe a little later than that they were standing there behind the house talking. Was it Corbin's? Was it? I think it might have been Smith's body cam. I can't remember for sure. I'll have to go back and find it, but that's the one I heard it on, and it was shortly after noon, I think, after I remember looking at the timestamp. And she was there already. So still, you know what I mean? She had to stand out there all day long, staging, as they called it, and still, that's the point. But I don't know.
Yes. Now, is that typical in a crime scene situation? I thought normally a coroner would be called by major crimes, and they would come out and go in with said major crimes to look at the bodies and look at the house and stuff. This is the first time I've heard of a coroner or a medical examiner being told just stage here.
Well, no, typically, like I said, like first responders get to the scene, they survey what's going on, they figure it out, in a basic matter, and then they contact the coroner immediately and say, hey, we got a situation, we need you here, so on and so forth. And they do take time sometimes if they're busy or whatnot, but usually, like I said, they show up, they have to process everything, they have to take custody of the bodies, they say, hey, yeah, they're dead, and they move on. And then everybody comes in, forensics does their job, so on and so forth. That didn't happen here.
There was such a concerted effort to have the police response be for not for death, but for an unresponsive person, right? And they took great pains to do that, and nobody. It certainly appears rehearsed that whatever you do, don't mention. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like everybody was told, keep that quiet. we need to call 911. We need the authorities to come here, but we need the call not to be for deceased. And maybe Senior Wachowski could give us an indication for what would the difference be if they were responding to a death, and what would that purpose be for it to be so key that that's the last thing they wanted.
Meaning that if they knew the initial call initially was called in as a death, yeah, that's a good point.
Would the response be more professional with more crime scene investigate? Would they be a lot less likely to trample through the crime scene, and would it be a more thorough investigation if they knew what they were getting into right from the beginning?
I mean, it just in my own personal experiences, not as law enforcement, but as a first responder, getting a call of a possible DOA or person down that could be stabbed, shot, whatever you want to call it, there's a completely different response from law enforcement, because in that situation, law enforcement has to be there first. They have to go in. See, this is what something else that was about this case. It was crazy. Typically, okay, not always, but typically, a person that's passed out is not going to provoke a police response. It's going to bring EMS, not usually police. Okay. They may show up if they're in the area to assist in some way, if they think it's, due to something else, if it's said in the call, but it wasn't. There was somebody passed out. That's all they said until things started to be said after the fact. Okay. So typically that would have automatically rolled EMS to get to the scene to figure out why this person's passed out. We know that midway through the call, things changed to some extreme because she's not breathing. And we've all talked through that already.
It was like they were very careful not to actually let the cat out of the bag, though, right? Like,
that's exactly the problem right there, Jesse.
And I think we all sort of suspect that they had contact with law enforcement in advance and had been coached by law enforcement on exactly how to deal with law enforcement.
Some extreme, yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yes.
Yeah, because if you're calling and saying that you have an unconscious person, and Emily and Hunter come over, what would stop Hunter from going upstairs to the third floor? Because he knows Kaylee and Maddie live there. What would stop him from going up to the third floor?
Definitely did go upstairs to the third floor is the thing.
Yeah, I don't know that he didn't, Robert. I'll be honest with you. I have a feeling that he did.
And this theory also explains why they allowed Hunter to be in the position he was, walking through the house with a knife in his hand and pointing out, oh, here, over here, and this is there. I mean, he should have never been in that house. He should have never been allowed in that house from the time they arrived.
And the custody queens hit on that yesterday too and said there's no way that that's allowed. There's no way that that's legal. We all know that. And
I don't think any of these kids would know enough to be sharp enough to know how to plan this out, to not divulge the right information when they call 911, for them to be so well rehearsed. It indicates that somebody a lot more intelligent than them, or I won't say intelligent, but experienced, more experienced than them, coached them on how to handle this.
That's what it seems. It surely truly does. It truly does seem that way. I have a feeling that Hunter did hit the third floor at some point when he went in the house. I still have issues with the fact that he bolted and ran and sprinted over there to get there before everybody else. I don't like that at all. He claims it's to make sure everything was okay, but something's wrong there. Okay.
And I agree with both you and Jesse, and I agree with you, Dago. I was going through the Jack Showalter interview with the ISP, and what struck me was the fact that he was saying that there was text messages going on in the pledge class group chat about the homicides. I'm wondering, since Dylan was in that pledge class with Jack S., could she have been like texting people at, like, say 4:30 in the morning, 8:30 in the morning in this group chat? And one of the things that stuck out to me as well is one of the victims' families was messaging well before the cops were called and well before the news was even notified about it. I'd like to know what victims' families was doing this. Was it Jasmine? Was it Olivia? All I said was victims' families was messaging before the cops were called and before the news was notified about these homicides.
I'll add to that with a lot of people involved in this case claim to have woken up and known something was wrong in the middle of the night, which that seems like guilty. The guilt possesses them to offer that, it's a strange thing that so many people are suggesting that they woke up right at the time this was happening and had an eerie feeling. To me, that's an indication that it's almost like a confession.
Yeah.
So
I don't believe they all have ESP. Let's put it that way.
That's a good way to put that, Jesse. And real quick, Fox, I agree. It is almost as if Hunter was waiting for that call to go over there. And most importantly, I think Lucy just hit on it too. And I was going to say it myself, but again, there's still no answer as to why Hunter or nobody explained on the 911 call about Ethan and or all of the blood that would not surround a person that's passed out. That was never spoken about one time. Not even when the cop got there. When Nunez first got there, and nobody said a word about there's blood everywhere. They were stabbed. They're dead. Blah, blah. Nobody said any of that. They had to figure that out on their own by going into that room.
Yeah. And you could clearly tell from the body cam when they walked into the third floor bedroom that one officer said, "Fuck, 2 more."
Yeah. I mean, they know what the situation is at that point, but why was it never spoken about on that call? Why was that being withheld? Why was it hidden? Yeah. I mean, they know they're going to figure it out when police get there. So why didn't you say it during the call? You were in that room twice or more. We don't know. Yeah. And I almost guarantee he went upstairs, folks. I have no doubt in my mind that he went upstairs at this point. So again, why?
I've continued to hear that Kaylee's blood was on that knife. Or sorry, on the table where that knife, in the vicinity of that knife.
It was on. They found diluted blood on a table. That's true. They also found her blood along with Ethan's on the half wall. That doesn't make sense either. So how?
This had to be more than one perp crime. If you had Kaylee and Ethan's blood on that side wall, Kaylee could have tried to get away. Somebody chased her down and drug her back upstairs.
Right. Agreed, Robert. Agreed. Even worse, that vandal alert, they actually thought that they deserved an effing explanation for Ellie not telling them. Yeah, that's true too. That's true too.
That's the only thing I can think of, Dago, is if Kaylee tried to get away and they caught her and they pinned her against that corner wall, and then naturally she fought back, but they managed to subdue her and drag her back upstairs.
Yeah, that does make sense. It does. That would explain some of that. Take care, Gabby. Thank you. That would explain the blood transfer from one point of the house to the other, and having multiple, Is that you, JC? I can't tell.
Don't bring on that guy with the performance again.
Yeah, I know. Hi. Hey, I had to look for a minute. All I could see was her.
Hi, JC.
I had my camera on.
I just saw this. That was it. I was like, yeah, is that you?
I had my camera on. I'm in the dark.
Yeah, you're good. It might be the first time seeing a scene like that, but we all know is what. Yeah, there's no. Well, he even said when he goes in there, you guys, it was like, I didn't take his pulse, but I'm pretty sure he's dead. I mean, you know. Okay. Why didn't you say any of this on the call? And nobody ever asked that question. Law enforcement did not ask that question in any of the interviews with any of those people there.
Everybody was shamed to forget about that. Put it out of your mind. Don't you dare.
Exactly.
To be honest, one of the most significant things about, I shouldn't say most significant, but it puts it in perspective. Watching Megyn Kelly on her own show get told, no bones about it. You shut your mouth. You don't ask those questions.
Yep.
You don't talk about, how dare you?
Exactly.
How dare you? And it was like, my God, that just blew my mind.
It is mind blowing, sir.
That those guys went on her show, and I mean, she's a big deal. Yeah. She's a powerful figure in American politics, and for those guys to go on her show and tell her, it almost felt like a threat to me.
It's not a nobody by any means.
And to be honest with you, it was a very effective threat, because she never said a goddamn thing about the case again after that.
Right. And that's kind of a damn shame,
because she was clearly just in the process of waking up to what we've been seeing the whole time, right? You could see the wheels turning as she's speaking. She's like, we are allowed to ask questions about this, she says, right?
Right.
And then she was sternly told, no, you're not.
Right.
And she never did again.
That's a good point, Jesse. Good point. And yeah, SRB, that is a good question. And why drag her past her own room and take her into Maddie's? That is a good point. You got to wonder that too. See, that's what I'm saying, guys. Is you can go one direction and look at something in one way, and then it's something that takes you completely another way. Go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
So you think that Maddie and Kaylee were not unalived in Maddie's bedroom?
I don't know. It's just a thought and a theory that they could have been. It could have happened downstairs. My theory today.
And they were put in bed together.
Very possibly. Very possibly, but
could one person do that, or would they have to have help?
I don't believe they could. I think it would definitely.
I think it would take 2 or 3. And all this that you guys are talking about also goes along with Sarge's theory of it happened internally.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But I don't know. I guess just listening to you a few minutes or a while ago, and with Lana's whole thing. So it could have been Xana and Ethan were unalived at one point, and then Kaylee and Maddie at another. But my question is this. I know we say, oh, Kaylee was the target. Oh, Maddie was the target. Oh, Ethan could have been the target. Oh, Ethan and Xana could have been the target. But now, okay, first off, I think were you guys saying something about how Kaylee didn't know somebody, or Jack Showalter said he didn't know Kaylee?
Oh, yeah, he's claimed that more than once.
Okay, that's bullshit. I think Kaylee knew everybody. Okay. I think Kaylee was probably a little socialite, maybe more than she should have been. Okay. And that's my first thought. But my second thought is, could all 4 of them been a target?
Sure. There's
so many caveats.
Endless.
See what I mean? There's endless possibilities.
Absolutely.
And I think that goes back to, I think that is a result of there not being an actual factual timeline.
Of course it is.
And I've said this for a long time now, and I keep coming on here and saying the same thing. We don't have an actual timeline. There could be 2 timelines. There could be 1 timeline.
That's why I think that Mavit was directed to call the time of death at noon. End of story. Because now there's no investigation into the timelines. There's no looking into learning that there were 2 separate timelines, possibly. That 2 of them were killed at one time and 2 were killed at another time. That way you don't have to worry about that, because they died at noon. Yeah, okay. And there's ways to do this, okay? There's ways to figure out the time of death, and they chose not to. Well, there's a reason for that in my opinion. It's not just because they couldn't. That's bullshit.
And see what's weird is I was watching a video the other night, and it was Moscow, Idaho, 3 years later, and you have this one girl who's she is clearly a sorority that said that they have to do everything using their Apple ID or they no the live location for Apple because
Robert,
yeah.
hang on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna let you continue. I'm just letting you guys know I'm gonna go grab coffee. I can still hear you, and I'll be right back. Keep going. Sorry.
They use their Apple location for their sorority members and whoever else to keep a tab on them on their live location. And it was just something ironic what this girl said that the corner club was Kaylee and Maddie's area. Which I'm thinking area. And I guess the partying at different spots is now coming to a close, and they're just picking certain spots where they feel safe. And I'm thinking, well, if Brian's in prison, why would they still feel unsafe to go out by themselves? Why would they have to go out in a group of people and to certain spots where before they went wherever they want, unless the actual killer is still running around the streets of Moscow?
That's a good point.
Because if BK was the supposed killer, you'd feel a lot more at ease knowing that this person's off the streets, even 3 years later. Why go through all these safety measures if you still feel unsafe? If maybe there's somebody in the town that knows something, and that's why these college kids are feeling unsafe, even 3 years later.
I would still feel unsafe. I don't know about anybody else, but I would. Just because I have more questions, but maybe even people that don't have more questions should still take a safety measure. But if they didn't before, and now they think that the one person that's responsible for this is not able to, or he's in jail, he's behind bars, like I'd feel safer, but that doesn't mean. But why would you still feel unsafe if you thought, yeah, I'd be terrified to live in the state of Idaho and specifically Moscow.
See, that kind of tells me that there are people that don't fully believe that Brian did this or did it alone.
Yeah.
At the least, yeah. There's people that, in my opinion, there's people there that know the truth, that know what really happened, that know who's really involved. And they always have.
Well, I don't think she's there anymore, but I think she does know. I think there's two people that know for sure. Two people that know.
I think that based on what Kim had said, and I have to agree with her, that there was multiple people that knew that this was going to happen before it happened, and multiple people that knew who was involved and why and who did it afterwards.
Yeah, I talked to my brother today.
Do you think Jack Decor is one of them?
Very possibly. Go ahead, Robert.
Well, just like my brother, he lives 30 minutes south of Pullman, and what he told me, he had a wild hair up his ass, and he went into Moscow and just started asking questions. And he had parked near the corner club, and when he was walking towards his truck, two individuals approached him and said, "Don't ask us questions again. Get the F out of our town."
This was after he already asked questions?
Yes.
Well, that's been the reaction to a lot of people that have done that. They did it to Rory. They did it to JLR. They did that to Olivia at some point. There's a lot of people that not Kaylee's sister, but Olivia, Chronicles of Olivia. A lot of people were treated that way about this. So you got to wonder why.
Yeah, and this was about 2 weeks ago. This happened, and my brother, he's not a small person. He's taller than me, and he outweighs me by 100 pounds, and he's a former over the road truck driver, and I mean he knows how to handle himself. But he said the vibe that he got off these two gentlemen, basically told him in a nutshell, yeah, I need to get in my truck and leave.
And you said he was going. Did he actually go to the corner club?
He parked out in front, and he was just he said he was like walking through the streets of downtown Moscow, and he'd see a person out, and he would just stop and conversate, and then throw a couple of questions here and there in the conversation. And um, he said he got a very unwelcome reception, and he said he was there about 20 to 30 minutes, and he decided he was just going to get in his truck and leave. So he walked back to his truck, and the way he put it, two people walked out of Corner Club. One was on their cell phone, and then they walked up to him and said, "Yeah, your questions are done. Get the f out of here."
How did they know what he was doing? Did one of the people that he talked to go into the corner club and tell people?
Phone, text, hello. This guy was on the phone when he walked out of the Corner Club, walking up towards my brother.
That's what happened with Rory. That's almost exactly how that happened. Rory walked in, bought a drink at the Corner Club, went to the back patio, sat down. Somebody that I believe I knew who it was standing on, like there's a fence there that he was standing over the other side of it, kind of doing the Wilson thing with the eyeballs. Pointed somebody out, which I believe at this point was the owner. And Rory was live with all of us on there. And they walked over to him and said, you need to go. And he's like, what are you talking about? I just bought a drink. They're like, we don't give a fuck. Get out. You're not welcome here. Bye. And that was that. Walked him out the front door. So that's how quite a few people were treated there, guys. And we saw the reaction that like the Jack in the Box people had with JLR, the reaction they had with Rory when he went to Jack in the Box as well. I mean,
I'd like to try my luck at the Corner Club. Just saying.
I would too. I'd love to be honest with you. I'd like to see them approach me that way. That's all I'm saying. I'm not that guy. So come walking up and we'll have a conversation. I'm not a mean person. Don't threaten me though, because I did nothing wrong. So Lucy says, except his phone didn't actually ping there. They say 23 times within 100 meters. Is actually that he utilized the third tower 23 times, and that tower stops 100 meters short of providing service to 1122. Exactly. And like I said, Sarge even said that. He was like, Dago, you can't stalk somebody at 40 miles an hour. Meaning, just because his phone pinged off of this tower, it doesn't mean he ever stopped there, folks. It means he was driving within the realm of that specific tower is all it was. That's all. Oh, Miss Leah said Jesse is handsome. Oh boy. Don't make his head any bigger than it is.
What is this? What is this? The Dago dating game?
Jesse knows. He knows. I agree, Lucy. I agree. Yeah, I probably would too, to be honest with you. I'd probably treat JLR the same way.
Well, JLR is
the way he approaches people.
Yeah. He's in your face.
That's why the guys at the grub truck got pissed off at him. There's a way to talk to people and a way not to, and JLR just doesn't have people skills, in my opinion. So
I try to have people skills, but I'm not dumb enough to go up near the Corner Club.
Yeah. Oh, I would. If I was out there, I would go in every business out there, and I would have no qualm asking questions.
And Dago, you asked earlier, like, how many people do you think know what happened or know that something was going on? I think most. I'm wondering if. Remember when we watched all the body cams of them going door to door?
Yeah.
I'm just wondering how many of those people lied and said they didn't know anything or didn't hear anything, but really did, and just aren't willing and just want to stay out of it.
I think Jesse asked that about how many people actually know. I think I agree with him that the whole town knows. I think some people may know a little more than others, but I think the whole town has an inkling as to what is truly going on.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I mean, look at what Steve G has said in one of those interviews that they had to find out what happened to their kid from the college because the college knew everything before anybody else did.
Say that one more time.
Steve G said in an interview, this was a while back, that they had to find out what happened to their kid from the college because the college knew everything what happened before the parents even knew, and how they found out was Scott Green's book.
Well, to some extent, yeah, but I think they knew. I think they knew. Alley Girl said new owners of the corner club. Well, you got to wonder that too.
It's just weird.
What was media press cap doesn't sell his credentials enough. Yeah, right. Exactly. So do you guys have any other thoughts as far as this little theory I was expressing my feelings about, as far as the separate timeline, possibly with the killings itself, and maybe Zan and Ethan were actually at home?
No, I totally agree with you, brother. Yeah, I'll go back to my initial statement that it had to be between 3 and 4 a.m. because I mean, if you look at the calls that Kaylee was making, the mad dash calls to Jack D, and then Maddie right behind her, and then those calls stopped at what, 250, 254, and then you have the alcohol ban stop at 254, and then at 312 you have that group of people caught on body cam running away from the vicinity. I'm not saying they're running away from the home, but from the vicinity of the home back towards Sigma Chi.
But they actually, you know, with the runners, guys, that was something else Bertie pointed out too that made me wonder. That's possible that those runners were running from something. If something started to pop up at that house, that maybe they were there. Okay, maybe that house always has a bunch of people there. Maybe they were there or in that area and something started happening, and maybe there were gunshots. Okay, and that was like, shit, I'm out, bye, and they bolted. The problem is if that is true, I would venture to say at that point that Rosie and Tesdale would have heard that. They should have heard that. Okay. And they didn't acknowledge the runners. They didn't acknowledge any other sounds, any noises. They just kept right on doing what they were doing. So you have two options there. One, it didn't happen. Or two, they ignored it on purpose. Those are the only two options you can lay into that field. Okay. And that's, again, in my opinion.
I'd still like to know the whole story with the Banfield kids.
I think a lot of people would, to be honest.
I've got questions.
Yeah, I mean, especially with that one.
So many questions.
Yes, especially with that one saying, "Oh, we thought you were fake people."
I don't remember that. Can you refresh my memory?
When they stopped Saeed and he had the two unopened beers, there was three other gentlemen in the Banfield. One cop was walking towards them while I think it's either Tisdale or Rosendahl was standing there talking to Saeed, and he said he was 21 and said where his apartment was, and when they let him go, they were walking back towards the three kids that they had stopped in the middle of the Banfield, and it was either Tisdale or Rosendahl said, "Why did you guys run when we said stop?" And one of the kids said, "Oh, well, we thought you were fake people."
Seems like a weird thing to say.
Yeah.
But I was just going to mention that there's so many things that need to be explained. And in my opinion, to theorize the answer to one of the unexplained items it sort of has to fit in like a jigsaw puzzle. You know what I mean? Like you can hypothesize that this is the reason why this happened, but if it doesn't match up with some of the other questions, then it might be the wrong piece. If you catch my drift, and that's what I was trying to express to Birdie is I'm looking for something that fits and starts to explain everything and fit in the greater picture.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to it's like they're trying to fit jigsaw pieces in where they don't fit or don't belong, or try to trim them down.
You mean like Brian Koberger, the piece that they crammed into the middle of the jigsaw puzzle that didn't really fit, but that was good enough.
Yeah, exactly. If you have all these different suspects that you're either tailing or you're doing surveillance on, then all of a sudden you tunnel vision into what Steve G calls an outsider. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah, the whole premise of why they targeted Brian was he was an outsider, or he was odd, or he was creepy, or he was this, or he was that. But yet you had viable suspects already in your crosshairs.
Richard Allen was an outsider. Karen Reed was an outsider.
Well, like I said, you guys, even if, and I'm sure I'm going to get timed out by Lucy for this one, even if they were to somehow prove and show us that Brian Koberger actually did this, I don't even care at this point about that. The investigation, or their lack of, for better terms, is what my biggest issue is, and how and why it was handled the way it was. The judge, the prosecutors, every bit of it, all of it. How it happened, and why it continues to be okay. But that's if, you know what I'm saying. I don't feel like that's going to happen because they haven't done it yet. So
no, it's nothing about this case is okay, Dago. Nothing at all.
Yeah, you can read it later. Hold on, you guys.
I've covered this case for 3 years, and in that 3 years, I've had health problems and everything else pertaining to this case. But yet, we're all supposed to go on with this narrative that Brian did it, when we all know that Brian didn't do it, because that piece of that puzzle does not fit at all. There was no connection to the house. There was no stalking. There was no nothing. But yet they're trying to, like you said, Jesse, they're trying to cram this piece into this puzzle, trying to get it to fit when it doesn't fit at all.
Well, remember what I said about Megyn Kelly too. It's not just that they're trying to make it fit; it's that they're attacking and flat out, going on the offensive if you question that. And I think that we'd all have to agree that anybody with any reasonable intelligence can see the flaws in this case and see that it doesn't really add up. But it's the same thing as politics. It seems to be the narrative that's going around in this world. You might see something that looks a little odd, but you're being incentivized to ignore it. Don't mention that. Don't question that. Don't question this. Don't question the way that we do things around here, because you'll be punished for it. And that makes me very suspicious. It always has.
Yeah, exactly.
Good point. Very good point.
It just, to go back what you said, Jesse. Everything in this case is crooked, is corrupt. What in the blue fuck are they hiding? The only thing I think maybe they're hiding is the possible drug connection to either the town or the college or both.
The CI's theory does make sense, but that's the cops are now motivated to keep that on the down low. 3 years later, you would think students that would be aware of what somebody would come forward, because they don't give a shit, right? They're not trying to protect the students, aren't trying to protect the cops, right?
Yeah.
They want to protect each other, but it's pretty odd that 3 years down the road, nobody's come forward and said, "This is what I know."
Yeah, and because I mean, if you look at like that the kid that drowned underneath in that creek underneath the bridge, or I think he froze to death on the bridge or something, and he was a fraternity member there at the U of I. There's a lot of sick and twisted stuff that goes on at those fraternities and sororities. You know, the hazings that cause death. Yeah, and what's a good way to cover it up? Pin a murder of four students on somebody else that didn't even know they existed.
Yeah. Drugs, CI. I don't know. I don't know. Does it fit every piece? Does it work? I struggle with it a little bit.
Yeah, you and I both struggle with it, Jesse. We both struggle with it, and I know Dago struggles with it too.
Certainly, all the kids
That's an understatement.
would lie about the drugs, but why would the cops cover it up?
Maybe the cops are getting it. Maybe the cops are getting a kickback.
I got to get out of here. They're talking about me in the chat. It's getting a little out of hand. Elvis bobblehead. Way to go, Kane.
The only thing I can think of is the reason why the cops are covering it. Maybe they're getting some type of kickback from the university for covering it up. Because I mean,
I certainly think that Brett Payne there was a deal. I believe there was a deal made with Brett Payne. You become lead investigator. You steer this case the way we want. You break the law to do it. You ruin your law enforcement career, but you'll be rewarded with a lucrative position at the university as a repayment for screwing up your career. Because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Why the lead investigator of the biggest homicide case in the last 20 years is quitting law enforcement to work for the university. To me, it's because he knows he would be liable to lose his law enforcement career based on what he's done, the shady things he's done in this investigation.
Yeah. Went from a lead detective to a campus cop.
Yeah,
probably a pretty high-paid campus cop too.
That's the thing right there, and I think he has more. He probably has more reach than just a campus cop in his position.
But he was never supposed to be the lead investigator, anyways, right? Like,
no.
Again, this is another square peg round hole situation. They grabbed a square peg from the force, stuck it in the round hole because they had a plan, I think, and the plan was probably planting the sheath, really, when you really break it down. But I guess it's going out on a limb to suggest that, but that's along the lines of what I'm thinking.
Well, also, here's the thing: if you how do I say this? If you think about the position that they gave Payne, it gives him, in my opinion, control over certain things. He would be able to maybe navigate and control a narrative within that position about certain things, just within his position alone. And it makes me wonder, not only is it possibly a reward, job well done, all that kind of stuff. Here you go, and here's $200,000 a year to do nothing really. To that and giving him the option to be able to control from his position a narrative within campus, within the staff, within different things there, so on and so forth, to make sure things stay regulated a certain type of way. That's just an opinion, by the way, you guys, but I'm just saying. Just something extra to think about with that, but that's always been a thought in my mind as far as that's concerned.
Same here. Just everything in this case is like a square peg in a round hole. Yeah, I'm using your analogy there, Jesse. Yeah, they're trying to get square peg A to go into round peg B, and it's just not working. Even no matter how many times they try to hammer it in or fit it in through like weird messed up narratives or anything like that, it just doesn't fit.
That's a good point. Very good point. Nothing does. That's the biggest problem with it. Just saying.
Well, that's why I think Birdie's onto something. Is, the conventional way to look at this isn't working. Try something a little different. Go off the beaten path. I like what he's doing, and I'm glad he's doing it, because not everybody has the courage to be that guy that's going to go down those paths, right?
Absolutely.
Because people will ridicule you when you go down those paths sometimes, but think about the things that we wouldn't know if nobody did that.
That's 100%. Absolutely, Jesse. Very good point. Very, very good point.
With that, I think I got to retire to go back and watch football. I just ate some snacks and had another coffee, but it's about 5 a.m. here, and I'm getting a little tired. It's actually almost 6 a.m. So it's been a long night for me.
I gotcha.
But I appreciate you having me up, and it was great to meet Birdie, and it was fun as always. And thank you, JC and Robert as well.
Yes,
thank you, Jesse.
Thanks, Jesse. It's great to have you back up here. I appreciate you very much.
Bye, guys.
Take care, buddy.
Diego, I'm gonna jump down too.
Sounds good. Yeah, we're at.
Oh, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? Okay. Oh, all right. JC, take care. Yeah, I think we're gonna bring it to a close, guys, for the day.
You and I always have a good conversation, Dago.
I'm sorry?
You and I always have a good conversation.
Oh yeah, we always have great conversations over here about these things. I hope that not everybody was confused earlier on. It just is some good points, interesting ways to look at things, and like I said, at this point, in my opinion, we kind of got to step outside the box.
Yeah.
Because nothing else makes any sense. So I appreciate everybody joining me up here today. Birdie, thank you for jumping in here. I appreciate you very much as always. Miss Lana, thank you for jumping in. Robert, I appreciate you jumping up here. Jesse, JC, very much appreciated. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your night. I don't know what's going on with me tonight, but maybe I'll see you guys somewhere. Who knows?
Hey, I need to talk to you about something privately.
Okay. I got to jump off here and do a couple things, but if you don't mind, I guess I can jump into Discord and I can talk to you that way if that's okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, brother. I love you.
Absolutely. I'll let you know.
All right.
Take care. Everybody in chat, thanks you as always for just being you guys. You guys are amazing as always. I appreciate you all being here. Good to see you too, Jesse. Great to have you here. I appreciate anybody that may have donated in any form or fashion to the channel. I appreciate you guys respecting the guests as always, and the moderators. And thank you to the moderators for doing what they do. You guys are amazing. Guys, please make sure if you have not yet done it, hit that like button on your way out the door. Share it out. And hopefully I'll see you guys very soon. Bye-bye, everybody. Much love.
The coffee's cold, the final stain. We laid the map out in perfect picture of what they chose to do. The quiet street erupts in flashing light, a reckoning delivered in the night. SWAT serves the warrant, loud and clear, the sound of justice, the only thing we hear at the True Crime Cafe. We watch the suspect finally pay. The dark truth is backed and signed and sealed. The wound is closed, the name is finally healed. It's finally healed. The cafe's empty, closed for the night. We put the darkness back into the light. We'll wipe the counter, set the empty chair, and wait right here for the next secret laid bare. Until the next one.